Everything looks good here. How are we doing, everybody? Got to get everything on the technical side of things set up and ready to go, but we should be good with all this stuff here. So, all right. Looks like we are good and ready to go. How's everybody doing? It's been a few days now since we really went at this. I feel like it was, I guess, 2 days ago since we did the stream up in the exact same state of North Dakota. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Anyone that's also impacted by what we had before as well. So now, to go ahead and just break some stuff down. Obviously we got our enhanced risk today across these areas. Once again, nothing new. I'm gonna go ahead and reload this page. Once again, we're gonna be doing this a lot this evening, just so we're clear. So I guess first thing that we're gonna do here is go over our risk areas. So we have an enhanced risk up across the Dakotas, Nebraska, and Kansas down into the Oklahoma Panhandle. So I mean, this has changed since earlier. Earlier we just had this kind of in here, and we had a separate one down here. And so they decided to just go ahead and connect these in the middle. Nothing shocking. Honestly, I was kind of ready for them to do this anyway. And so it's not really surprising that they have. But overall, yeah, looks about right. I was kind of ready for them to do this, honestly, and they did do that. Purely from the standpoint, I think it just makes things easier for them to have things connected like this. So make sure everything on my end is working. I think it is. So yeah, all right. Percentage-wise and threat-wise here, we'll start with the wind threat first, as it is the most impactful, at least I believe it will be. So we have a 45% risk of damaging wind gust here, 30% around that, a 15 around that, a 5 around that. We also did see the addition of this 15% risk over here around Louisville down to Evansville and Nashville. So we do have some higher population centers in there as well. It looks like, you guys are going to have to let me know, it looks like there might be a little bit of lag here on weather front. I might have to close some things, but we'll see here. So hopping over the radar on what's going on right now, for the most part, not a whole lot going on here. We do have a tornado watch here. They're highlighting potential for damaging wind gust at a high risk here, 70 to 80% of that. Tornadoes, EF2 intensity maximum also have a 30% chance, and hail 2 inches in diameter also have a moderate chance of 60%. So definitely a relatively high impact type of thing here. I am going to possibly close the warning overlay. I know it looks pretty, and that's great, but one thing I am concerned about is it might be adding lag here because there's something to animate. So we'll see. I don't know. You guys let me know. There may be a little bit of lag on your end too. Hopefully not. I'm just going to leave it up as long as I can. If it gets really bad on my end, I might get rid of it. So here's the current radar. I'm going to put it in motion for us so we can see everything as it happens. We do have storm chasers in the U.S., in the lower 48 today. Thank goodness. We didn't have that with the last stream. They're all in Canada, and they stayed there pretty much the entire time. So we do have storm chasers, some of the same storm chasers actually, up in Canada here. And they're going to be providing what could be some life-saving coverage for all of this severe weather. So we'll see. We're going to be using the Weatherfront app for most, if not all, of this stream. So I'm not affiliated with them. They don't pay me anything, but I absolutely love what they've got going on here. Everything's customizable, and you can set everything up the way you like it. So it is very nice. So anyways, looking at some of the storms we have ongoing right now, we got 3 main storms, all of which are warned right now. And I say main, you might be looking at the warning overlay here and thinking, we got however many severe thunderstorm warnings. We have a lot of them, and we do. We have quite a few severe thunderstorm warnings. And yes, some of them are here in North Dakota. There's actually a 4th one up here in far northern North Dakota here. But we drop down here into areas of Nebraska and Kansas, and even Oklahoma here. We got more storms ongoing. I'm not as concerned about these. I know that the threat is the same here. You might be thinking, well, we have an enhanced risk. So what are we worried about here? Well, our percentages are lower here. Our tornado threat is lower, and everything else is really lower down here except for the wind threat. And the wind threat is definitely maximized up in this region here. So Speaking of that, I think I'm going to kind of lay some ground truth down first. Here is our wind threat, and that 45% risk is outlined in pink here. They did not upgrade to moderate today. Now, I'm not necessarily saying they should have, but I was a little surprised that they didn't. And the reason they would have upgraded was to add make the addition of some SIG 2 contours here, pretty much being an area where we could see the even stronger wind gust, upwards of 80 to 85 miles an hour. I think that is possible. I'm going to say right here. I think it's possible right across North Dakota and just down into South Dakota. Do keep in mind, some of these areas saw some really nasty severe weather over the past 2 days, specifically 2 days ago. So we do have some recently impacted communities, and it looks like we might be on tap to do it again. So obviously, just like the last stream, just like what we did last time, there's nothing shocking about this, but we are going to be dealing with discrete development first. We're going to be dealing with isolated supercells on their own first, before eventual upscale growth into some sort of big line is likely to happen eventually. This may be like 2 or 3 hours from now, and I plan to be live covering this. So if you're watching now, make sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel. It'll help out a lot. We're on our way to 750 subscribers, and eventually, obviously, further down the road, 1,000. So I would appreciate that a lot. We're trying out some streaming stuff here, so let me know how it looks on your end. Is the audio good? Everything should be good here. But otherwise, we're just going to keep going. So if you're just tuning in now, obviously we've got a lot going on here. We have a tornado watch already up for the Dakotas here. We have a few severe storms already ongoing, specifically in kind of western North Dakota here. And one of which is warned for some larger hail, upwards of 2 inches in diameter. It's technically warned only for 1.75 inch hail, and that's oddly specific, I know. But regardless, we do have that, so we do need to watch out for it. So let me know in the chat, the live chat. You can see it should be off to the right side of your screen. Drop a comment, where you're watching from, especially if you're in these risk areas. Let me know where you are, and maybe I can give you kind of a general idea about when these storms could impact you if you are in the risk area, obviously. And I mentioned this earlier, but we've got storm chasers actually on these storms in the lower 48. We had storm chasers up in Canada for the last stream that we did. And I'm pretty sure there are a few up there. Obviously, you see all these storms. Yeah, we got a few storm chasers up here. Actually, there's 3 of them chasing some activity in Manitoba and maybe Saskatchewan later on. So we'll watch out for that. We'll keep an eye on what they're seeing out there. But a lot of our storm chasers are either here or over here, and some of them may be headed south. We have activity across a large risk area today. Obviously, let's go ahead and go over that again for anyone new tuning in. So we have an enhanced risk, a pretty broad one at that, up in this orange shaded region here across all the Dakotas, Nebraska, and Kansas, technically even down into Oklahoma here. So this also is surrounded by a slight risk, another slight risk over here in the Mid-South, and a marginal around that. And the threats for this, we have a 10% chance here for tornadoes in North Dakota here, and technically areas of Minnesota as well, that we do need to watch out for, because I'm a little worried about a tornado threat. However, I said this in this morning's long-form video that we made. I do have questions about the tornado potential overall today with the evolution of storms. We will have to see. But as of right now, we do have some discrete activity in this area. Wind threat at a 45% risk here, and hail threat at a 30%. So big day. I am thinking, though, that across this region, we're going to see some wind gusts in the kind of, maybe 75, 80, 85 mile per hour range. And of course, I mean, we were not expecting this, but yesterday down in Kansas, we had like 113 mile per hour wind gusts, just some outrageous stuff there. So we will keep an eye on it, but we'll definitely keep our closest eyes here on the radar. And I know there's a lot going on, a lot on your screen here. So we will kind of try to jump around here. We have some storms over towards Nashville that are possibly producing some strong wind gusts. Murfreesboro, Cookeville, general areas here, but I'm not as worried about these as I am of much of anything further out west. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch over here in Kansas. Actually, we have multiple of them, and they get into New Mexico, Colorado, Oklahoma, and Texas, a few counties in those states, that is. And we're watching for possible watch issuance in this kind of highlighted blue region that you see right here. So we'll continue to cover, I'm really thinking primarily the northern areas with any especially discrete activity we have initially. So if you are watching the stream right now, you're tuning in, make sure to drop a comment in the comment section where you're watching from, and kind of if you're going to be impacted by any of this weather. I'd love to kind of know where you guys are watching from. What are the white polygons? You mean like these ones? These are special weather statements. These are essentially sub-severe thunderstorms. So they're not necessarily weaker per se, but they are what the experts are kind of highlighting as potentially severe thunderstorms in the near term. Obviously, the yellow are severe thunderstorm warnings, and the red, if we get any, will be tornado warnings. We have some just south of Winnipeg here, so watch out for those. But yeah, drop a comment down below where you're watching from, especially if you're going to be impacted by these risks, and maybe I can kind of break down what your threat's going to be. As well as like the stream and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. So to continue on here, I think the main areas are going to be, just the western Dakotas, especially initially, right across where we have this tornado watch. So we do have some severe storms right now. We have Nick Gorman is approaching one of these storms as it moves north. He's kind of got a good view here. It's not anything crazy, but my head's going to be in the way of some of this, but we do have this area here where we're watching. I mean, he's kind of approaching it from a distance here, so we don't have the best look at it, but we're watching him. We're watching a few other people too as they approach this. This storm has produced some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts just to the south here, but I really am thinking overall, guys, to be completely honest with you, it's not going to be very long at all before these things transition to more of a connected line. Model guidance has really been aggressive in showing that. I don't necessarily think over-aggressive, but they've been aggressive in showing it, so I'm just going to put out there that's more likely that we're going to get that as opposed to these individual supercells for an extended period of time here. I will check in on these storms here and see if we have any rotation. We have weak rotation on both. These are mainly large hail and possibly some damaging wind producers as of right now. That's the only real threats I see with these, and both of those hazards have been observed. You can see these reports down here in the Weatherfront app. Again, not associated with them, but I highly recommend checking them out. Just go to, let's see, it should be app.weatherfront.com, or just look up Weatherfront on your computer and you should be able to get it. If you have an iPhone, there's an app for it. If you have an Android, it'll be coming out to you guys soon. So definitely, they got a really good thing going on here. But again, big picture, we have some more isolated development out here in kind of west central North Dakota here. We do have one storm up here in far northwest North Dakota here, but it's not as severe as the ones to the south yet. I do also want to keep in mind here and just make sure we're aware that we have somewhat sparse radar coverage. I'm going to turn on the towers. We have the Minot Tower, we have the Bismarck Tower, and that's really it for central for the central North Dakota region here. So we are going to be in a radar hole for a little while, but I'm not super concerned yet. I am definitely just keeping an eye on this, and obviously we've got some distance between these towers, so we will be relying on some computer-generated images, if you will. That's what we're looking at here. This is kind of stitching radar towers together, but it's really helpful and kind of getting a big picture look here. So main storms, if you're just tuning in now, are in west central North Dakota here. We have some that are warned for producing some slightly larger hail than average. See, 1.75 inch hail for both of these, and this one up here is just 1.5 inch hail. So we'll keep an eye on these and we'll keep watching. But overall, I'm not super concerned about these yet. I think that's going to change pretty quickly, unfortunately, though, as we get further on into time, just due to the environment in the background here. So if you're tuning in now, I'm going to give you guys a treat. I'm going to show you guys the latest HRRR model run here, if I can find it. And here it is. So we're going to look at the simulated reflectivity from this and kind of see what the models are thinking in the short range about the evolution of these storms possibly. So let's select the latest model run here. We have a full run right now. So we take this further out in time here. HRRR model is kind of indicating that we're going to have a mess of storms right in this area for a little while. And these, as they grow, like you see this one right here, is kind of more of a line look. As we get these are going to be what we've got to watch for our damaging wind threat. And as we get further on, this is getting, again, 8 o'clock Central Time. If you're ever curious about the time, look up kind of in here. I have that sandwiched in between there so you guys can see it. But hopefully you guys can see the time. You may not be able to because it changes depending on what we're looking at. But this is getting into 8 o'clock. Here's about 9 o'clock, and as this starts to march off to the west, this is what we've got to watch for. Any of these regions could see some pretty strong wind gusts. Let's go ahead and look at those, actually. Here's our 10-meter wind gust. So this is just right around the surface here. And, I mean, we got some pretty impressive stuff in here, to be honest with you. I'm going to turn on the inspector tool. We got 60s, 70s in some areas. Nothing quite outrageous, I wouldn't say, but we have mid 70s showing up in a few of these areas. So regardless, we kind of compare this to what we're seeing right now, and as you kind of extrapolate this through time, I am expecting that as we get to the Minot-Bismarck corridor here, at least that north-south corridor, we're going to start to see more of a line of storms develop that we do have to watch for. But I'm going to reload this page. I'm going to drop down to the south as well because we've got other storms to cover here. So we just got a tornado watch issued here in Nebraska. Let's see what our threats are going to be in this. So we have a moderate threat. This is not the Storm Prediction Center version of moderate. This is kind of just a word moderate here. We have decent chances of seeing tornadoes, wind, and hail. That's what this is saying. We have storms from the west already moving into this. And then you drop down here into Kansas. We do have some severe and sub-severe storms. As Nick mentioned, I answered his question not too long ago here. These kind of white polygons, they're actually kind of tan color, but they look white. These are special weather statements. They're kind of sub-severe storms, but we always monitor these for potential upgrades to severe thunderstorm warnings in the near term, so we'll watch out for those. But yeah, drop a comment down below where you're watching from, like the stream, and subscribe to the channel. It'll help out a lot. Actually, I'm really enjoying doing this streaming stuff. It's quite fun. But we'll keep an eye on all these storms as much as we can. We have storm chasers in Canada and storm chasers in the lower 48 here. And I'm watching Mezzo Hunter here. He's to the south of Bismarck. And as he continues headed off to the west here, I think he's going to possibly get this storm. Let's see what his current view is here and see if it's see what it looks like. But just a lot of dark cloud matter. Let's see what Nick Gorman's perspective is. He's kind of paralleling the storm. Oh, wow. So we do have a look here. Hopefully you guys can see this. It's a little bit blurry, yes, but look at this storm you can see over here to the right. A very nasty storm headed off these ways. Let's look at where this might be. So this is kind of going to be, it's headed north. So watch out if you're in Garrison. You guys are probably feeling it. And Beulah or over towards Stanton. These are moving in an interesting direction, right? They're kind of headed off due to the north, and they look like they'd be headed off to the east here. This will probably also change with time. These will probably start to march more to the east from the west as time goes on. So yeah, Nick, you're in Kansas. So let me know, are you set to be impacted by what we've got going on down here right now? We've got severe thunderstorm watch for most of Kansas here, but not the far eastern areas. And yeah, I mean, the next few days could be pretty rough down there. But today is one of them, so we'll keep an eye on this for sure. Let's keep coverage going here. We're going to be watching this. This is a pretty impressive looking storm approaching Garrison here, so watch out for there. You guys might see this. This is the Otis project, kind of headed north here. I'm not exactly sure where they're targeting, but this is going to be, they do some really cool stuff with drones, actually. They send drones into tornadoes. It's pretty insane. So you're watching you're watching from eastern Kansas. So yeah, so for today, zoom out here. Yeah, you've probably got a threat, but it'll be later on in time. So it's not necessarily going to be something that for a few hours you're probably going to be pretty much fine. It's quite humid, warm out there for sure, but you're probably, for the most part, you're pretty good out there. But again, if you're just tuning in now, main risk area that I'm watching in the near term, as in the next hour or so, is going to be the Dakotas here, particularly North Dakota. But I'm also watching these blips that are forming out here in western South Dakota because we do have a risk out here as well. So if you're just tuning in now, drop a comment down below, like the stream, and subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot to me. We're on the road to eventually 1,000 subscribers, but I'll set a goal of 750 in the kind of short term here. So looking at our outlook, looking at our risk area, if you were not aware, this is what we've got. We've got an enhanced risk up across all of the highlighted states. This is going to be the Dakotas, Minnesota, down into Nebraska, Kansas, and technically Oklahoma as well. So this is a pretty expansive threat, and around this is a slight risk, and around that is a marginal. Looking at the risks themselves, 10% chance of a tornado here in this yellow, 5 in the brown, and 2 in the green. And the interesting thing about this is that the black dashed region you see is where we could see some possibly EF2 tornadoes. So the Storm Prediction Center has remained confident that in this area, there's a decent shot at seeing some strong tornadoes up here. So we'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, right now, that threat is not really happening too much. We also have a 2% risk over here in the Mid-South and kind of just Ohio River valleys here. Wind threat, though. Sorry, wrong thing. Wind threat is going to be the main thing, I think, today. And this was kind of teetering right on the edge of going moderate today but they didn't pull the trigger on it. Maybe for good reason, we'll see. We have a 45% risk of damaging winds in the Dakotas here in that pink shaded region. So just kind of taking a closer look at this. These are some cities, Minot down to Bismarck, Jamestown, over towards Fargo and Grand Forks in areas of North Dakota here. It gets down into Pierre and Huron, South Dakota, including Aberdeen and Mobridge as well. So larger population centers in here. I think this is going to be a significant, widespread damaging wind event. Now, I'm not saying when I say that we're going to see 100-mile-per-hour wind gust across, this huge area. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I think there is a decent chance that we have somewhat widespread wind damage to some degree. And we also have a chance of hail. So a 30% risk in the red, 15 in yellow, and then 5 in brown for this. So we'll keep an eye on this, and we'll see. I mean, as of right now, we can look back at the radar here. We do have some hail-producing storms, don't get me wrong, but I'm not exactly sure we're going to see widespread 2-inch hail. We absolutely could, though, so keep that in mind. And, yeah, we're just going to be continuing this coverage. We got storm chasers in the lower 48. I've been mentioning that a few times, mainly because for the last stream we did not have storm chasers in the lower 48, but they'll be helping us a lot here with getting this information. So if you're just tuning in now to the stream, I do appreciate you watching. Make sure to like this stream. It helps get out to more people. That's really the only reason I would ask you to do that. Guys, I don't care about likes. Make sure to just do that. It helps the algorithm know this video is helping. And also subscribe to the channel. It would help out a lot. So this is the latest here. The latest just kind of radar loop that we've got here. We got some storms kind of approaching the Garrison area in North Dakota and eventually up towards Minot, so we'll keep that in mind, kind of watch out for that, and just keep an eye on it. Overall, I wouldn't say that right this moment we have anything that's really noteworthy here. This storm on the far southern edge here, just to the east of Lemon, is maybe a little bit more on its own, and in the near term, this could be our tornado producer. We look at rotation. If we were to see yellows or reds on this, maybe we'd be more concerned, but I'm really not super concerned right now, which is a good thing, right? We want to avoid that as long as possible. We have Mezzo Hunter. He's a well-known storm chaser, is heading towards this storm, and I'm thinking he's probably going to go this way and then take this road down here to go see this storm as it's headed off to the north. So maybe he already did that. Let's see what his view is, right? He had a really good view earlier. Let's see what he's seeing right now. This loads in. Wow, it's a pretty stunning look here. So I know it's not this uber high quality stream here, but you can see a lot of modest clouds kind of hanging down. These are underneath the anvil of this storm, and the storm itself is kind of at the bottom areas of your screen. So this is a nasty looking storm. He's obviously a little ways off, but it's got some pretty lowered clouds, and that's what you got to watch for. This is what can it can end up making the tornado threat higher. Some of these storms are high-based, meaning that they really don't have too much of a chance at producing damaging wind gusts, but this could be an exception to that rule for sure, so we'll keep an eye on that. Now, I'm going to leave his view here. We'll keep tuning into him. I definitely appreciate all these storm chasers. Huge shout-out to all the storm chasers. So, just got a 1.5-inch hail report in Beulah, or however you would say this, guys. I got to figure that out. Beulah, that's how I'm going to say it here. For these storms. These don't look super concerning, I guess, would be the word. Not yet. That could change here, but I'm not super worried about that. So if you're just tuning in now, like the stream, subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it a lot. And a huge shout out to our storm chasers and the Weatherfront app. You can download this on iOS on your iPhone. Android not yet, but desktop is out. So you can, if you have an Android, you can essentially just go to Google and just search that, and you can find it there. But I'm not affiliated with them for any reason, but they've got a great thing going here, so make sure to check them out. Taking a broad look at things here, here's the big picture look of what's going on. I'm going to check on these storms down here in Tennessee in just a moment here, but we got some storm activity moving through Kansas here, and some higher wind reports. We got 60 and even a 70-mile-per-hour wind report here. And so we got some strong storms down here as well. We want to watch out for these. We will see what they do in the future here as they move to the east. These look to be mainly damaging wind producers, and that's really it. We look at rotation here. Looks like there could be rotation north of Dodge City. You might be thinking that, but this is really just some kind of contamination from the radar, if you will. So not super concerned about that. They're probably going to upgrade this warning to 60 mile per hour for Dodge City. So watch out if you're in these areas. And we'll just take a more zoomed out look here as well. We're going to be watching out Nebraska here too in the near term. We don't have anything super wild right now that's showing up there, but we do have that. And I'm going to jump over here actually to areas of the Ohio Valley and Mid-South. We have a nasty storm complex just to the south of Nashville here. Kind of headed out. It's warned for 70-mile-per-hour winds too, so pretty significant storm here. It looks like, I'm watching the feed here, it does look like the warning overlay might be flashing a little bit. You guys can let me know if that's bothering you. Not exactly sure why that is, but it is doing it. That's a little bizarre. But anyways, we do have some nasty storms over here in the Tennessee area, so we'll watch out for these. I'm not super concerned right now. I'm going to go ahead and reload this page. It has been way too long since I reloaded it. That should help out a lot there. So, oh yeah, it feels way better on my end. So let's check on these storms again. We're going to keep an eye on storm chaser views here and just the storms overall. So new severe thunderstorm warning here for areas like Newtown. That looks like the only city that's showing up in here, and Rose Glen, North Dakota here. So we do have this new warning. It's just been issued for 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1 1/4 inch hail. So some decent hail in here. And we obviously had the larger storm complex just off to the east, and Beulah up towards Garrison and Stanton, North Dakota. We also have this kind of more isolated storm down here just north of the border that we want to watch out for. I don't want to, get super caught up on this or go super crazy, but we have storm chasers nearby this that we do want to watch out for. We have various storm chasers in this area. They're not all streaming their feeds at the exact same time, but we do have several storm chasers that are looking at this. And here's Nick Gorman's perspective, kind of from the storm that we're looking at in the Washburn area. Looks like weather front might be frozen here. So I am going to get rid of this. Hopefully it freezes up here. Does not look like it's going to. So I may have to restart the program here. It's possible. But overall, either way, these are the storms that we're more concerned about that we'll just keep an eye on. In the near term, we're talking about over the next, little bit of time. We're not going super wild here. It does look like something appears to be wrong with weather front. I have a lot of layers on here, so who knows? Might have to just restart the application. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is straight up frozen. We'll do our best. We'll just leave it on this view, and eventually it'll unfreeze itself, hopefully. So the storms that are in kind of the western North Dakota region approaching Bismarck overall, I know I'm just naming cities here. These are the ones that we're most concerned about over the near term. I'm not thinking that these are going to be super, super wild right now, but I am somewhat, interested in what they're going to be doing in the near term, because model guidance really thinks that these are going to kind of cluster up together and form more kind of into a big line. And right now they're doing pretty well at staying out on their own, which I do find interesting here. So we finally got weather front to unfreeze here. There we go. Thank goodness. There we go. That helps out a lot. So here we go. Let's check on everything now that it's finally unfrozen. I bet you guys, some of you that just tuned in probably had no idea it was even frozen to begin with. So anyways, this is what we got going on. Yo, what's up, Mitch? Thanks for tuning in, man. This is what we got going on. Weather front just finally unfroze itself. So this is what we have. Storm chasers are kind of coming together on these northern storms. We are watching Mezzo Hunter's perspective down here just to the east of Elgin. Overall, I'm not really... this storm down here looked good for a little while and put this in motion for us. It had almost a hook for a little while. It's kind of morphing around and doing some interesting things, so I'm not entirely sure that it's going to, that it's really going to do much. Overall, like I just mentioned, these are expected to form into a big line as they move off to the east with time, and overall that's what's going to be the more concerning thing, so we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, for those of you just tuning in now, make sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment in the comment section, where you're watching from, especially if you're in the risk areas for today. I might be able to help you guys out with kind of a more detailed breakdown here if I've got some time, just a little bit, so we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, this is the latest. Here's the latest loop. We do have a cluster of storms just to the east of Dickinson and just to the west of Washburn, North Dakota here that we do need to watch out for in the near term. It's produced some strong wind gusts, and we just got a new wind gust report speaking of that. And this just recently warned storm of 62 miles an hour. So overall, this is not super, super crazy right now. I think that is going to change relatively quickly. Thanks for watching from Wisconsin, Sovereign. And yeah, people that are in these areas, make sure to stay safe. Big day. Big few days, honestly. I mean, I made a video this morning about this. This is a big sequence of days. And obviously, this is one of the last days for a little while, specifically in the Dakotas only, but it's a lot for the upper Midwest and the high plains. But either way, we're going to keep an eye on it and do our best to keep you guys covered here. So here's the latest loop. The storm down here just to the north of Glen Ullin, I believe is how you'd say this. Look at rotation here. It does have a little bit of rotation on it, so we'll watch out for it. Overall, here's what the actual radar looks like. So there's definitely some large hail in here. Guys, I mean, I honestly think it's one of the more concerning things about this right now, is that we just got some absolutely massive hail from some of these. So I did see the kind of hurricane-looking thing rolling through Kansas last night. I did. It's called an MCV, a mesoscale convective vortex. Those form just along and to the north of a really, really strong bow echo. That thing actually produced some like 110, 113 mile per hour wind gusts, some outrageous stuff. And it's possible we see that tonight. I'm not super convinced that's going to happen, but it is possible once we get further into time. We're talking about, I mean, right now it's about 6 o'clock Central Time. We're talking about once we get to 7, 8 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock Central, that maybe we get some more damaging wind gusts. Right now, we're really only seeing, some more isolated development. Of course, that's on the scarier side if we're looking more specifically for tornadoes. And we do have a threat in North Dakota here, almost primarily for the highest hazards. And I do want to give a shout out to Environment Canada meteorologists because they actually issued an extreme risk at level 4 out of 4 for Canada for today. That was the second one that they've issued in 8 years. One of them was 2 days ago, and this was the other one today. So big day up there. Obviously, look at this. We do have storm chasers up here, all kind of converging on this single storm. It looks pretty messy up here. Fortunately, that could be a saving grace, but even if it's not, this looks pretty messy up here. And we could definitely get some tornadoes out of this. We do have tornado warning up here to the south of Winnipeg. This looks really messy, so I'm not super concerned about it right now. But taking a look at these storms again, these are the main things of concern here. We do have 3 warnings on this cluster right now. None of these are significant, right? They're only for 60 mile per hour winds and hail just shy of 2 inches, which is significant, but it's not. It could be worse. Put it that way. Let's take a look at Meso Hunter's perspective here. Looks like there could be an issue with his stream. Let's also look at what Nick Gorman's perspective might be here. If it loads in. Yeah, look at this, guys. I mean, this is, it looks messy, I know, but it also looks pretty scary. Look at that perspective that he's got just rolling to the east of these storms that we're watching right now. So it is very, very fortunate that we have storm chasers actually on these storms in the lower 48. Well, I'm going to be watching where the Otis project goes because, like I mentioned a little bit ago, they actually do they do drone stuff. They send drones into severe thunderstorms and specifically tornadoes. So the fact that you see them out there today maybe means that they're thinking tornadoes could be on the table, and they absolutely could be. So with that being said, we gotta watch this, and I think our tornado potential is probably going to maximize in the near term. We're talking about over the next maybe 1 to 2 hours before a transition to a big line of storms is expected. So I'm going to reload the page and let Weatherfront refresh itself. By the way, huge shout out to the developers over at Weatherfront. They've been making this all possible. I appreciate all of the hard work they put into this. So taking a big picture look, let's just zoom out even further. So we've got our main risk area further out west, and we obviously got this slight risk over here in the mid-south. We have some strong thunderstorms in Tennessee. Kind of looks messy, though, over there. I'd say by far our most robust development is going to be over here in the Dakotas. And I'm watching. We have some blips showing up on radar in the western South Dakota region that we want to watch for. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And Sovereign just said you're not looking forward to this, the weather Wednesday and Thursday. Yeah, for sure. You're watching from Wisconsin. Big day, particularly tomorrow and Thursday. Like you said, some big stuff is definitely possible out there. I covered that in this morning's video. And I was planning on making an evening video to cover the long range stuff and the pattern overall, etc. But it just didn't happen. I got set up for the stream and I got excited for it, and I just decided to go for it. But I'm glad I did. We just hit 720 subscribers, so I appreciate all of your support. And And yeah, I appreciate it a lot. So with that being said, it's an excellent reminder. Go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. We're trying to get to 750 and, of course, eventually 1,000 subscribers. So I'd appreciate it a lot. And sorry, you said you're in transportation. You'll be driving to Minnesota. Yeah, so you're going to be on the road too. Yeah, definitely keep a close eye on the weather. And depending on exactly where you're at, you may be good. Of course, you might be between Wisconsin and Minnesota. You could impact some, or you could see the impacts of some pretty nasty storms out there. So definitely praying for you out there, wherever you're watching from. So here's what we got. Here's the latest that I'm most concerned about right now is going to be in North Dakota. We got several severe thunderstorm warnings out in this area. Severe thunderstorms producing large hail and damaging wind gusts. As of right now, here's the latest frame that we got. So we got some storms around Golden Valley. These are producing, hail. Typically less than about 2 inches, less than an inch and a half, and some strong wind gusts here. Let's look at some storm chaser perspectives real quick. Mezzo Hunter looks like he's turned his feed off. Maybe his camera's down. We'll check on that in a minute. Nick Gorman, let's see what he's looking at right now. Pretty similar to what we just saw from his perspective. He's kind of going up underneath the leading edge of one of these storms, which is absolutely, it still looks pretty insane. Let's see. He's headed down, likely to this storm down here. So he's trying to get out in kind of the notch, which is going to be in this area right there. You can get some really, really cool footage from there overall. So, Sovereign, you said you're in Milwaukee. You're going to La Crosse and Rochester, Eau Claire, and Minneapolis. So you're driving everywhere out there. You're going to be on the road a lot, I guess. And if that's the case, just only going to be increasing your chances of seeing some possibly pretty intense, severe weather out there. But hopefully you stay safe and don't get impacted by anything too crazy. So I'm going to drop down here to Nebraska. We got some significant severe weather unfolding there right now. So 70 mile per hour observed severe thunderstorm warning here approaching Gordon from Chaldron. So this is in, again, far western areas of Nebraska. Not a whole lot of population out here. I know some of you might be thinking, why is this dude covering this? And, this is making a whole lot of sense. Well, it is what it is. I just want to make sure that, we're covering everybody. But this is a pretty significant severe thunderstorm approaching Gordon, so watch out there. We got some other storms down here around Oshkosh, up towards, they're going to be eventually going towards Hyannis, Mullen, and just further into Nebraska with time here. Got some other nasty storms down here in Kansas. None of these look too crazy to me, though, specifically. I mean, they're definitely all strong storms, but nothing too crazy. Yeah, definitely. It's great. You're going to be dealing with two drivers. That's great. The more, again, like you said, the more eyes on the road and the weather is going to be helpful. The more eyes in general are going to be helpful for picking that out. Of course, as you know, make sure not to go over or go under an overpass in the event of an actual severe thunderstorm warning, or worst comes to worst, a tornado. Not a good place to be. I'm sure you're well aware of that. So, let's see what we got going on here. We got several storm chasers that are out here in this area. Hopefully Mezzo Hunter, his feed should be back up here. So Mezzo Hunter, not a great perspective now, but it will be soon as he heads down to the south here. So we will keep an eye on that. Again, I mentioned this, I think, probably been about 10 minutes at this point. The warnings overlay that says tornado, severe thunderstorm warnings, flash flood, whatever, it seems to be flashing. Honestly, I might just get rid of that. It looks cool and all, but I might just get rid of it. I'm not sure here. In fact, I think you guys are not going to even notice if this is missing. I think I'm going to head over here. First thing I'm going to do is change the subscriber goal. I appreciate you guys hitting that subscribe button. I really do. I'm going to change this to 725. It is crazy to keep changing that number. But yeah, we're watching these storms. I think, like I just said, I think I might go ahead and start the process of removing this warning overlay. See, that might help out with some lag that we're seeing here as well. So, let's see if I can find it. This is going to be, it should be this one here. Yeah, I'm going to delete it. And hopefully this is the right thing. It is. So this is going to help out a lot. Yeah, this is great. So that got rid of that. I know it's pretty and all that, but it is what it is. So let's see here. I'm going to kind of pull this down here like that, make everything symmetrical. I love making things symmetrical, guys. It's always cool. It's always also really fun to have technical difficulties in the middle of a live stream. Hopefully you guys never have to experience this. It is what it is. It's on me for using a laptop for this. I probably should not be using a laptop for this. But there we go. All right, so this should be better. Overall, my computer's probably going to like this a whole lot more. So now, I'm going to jump back over here, and we're going to look at the latest. So Sovereign said, your boss is going to let me know if we're going or not due to weather. Yeah, I mean, it's very possible if the trends continue to show what they're showing right now, it's very possible you don't end up going. Um, and hoping for good news for sure with that. Definitely hoping for good news there. So, how are we doing out there, guys? Leave a comment down below where you're watching from. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. I greatly appreciate that. How are we doing? We got a lot of ground to cover. Hopefully my voice doesn't get too sore. I mean, I did this for 4 hours. It was, I guess, 2 days ago. And my voice got a little tired, but hopefully we don't get too tired with this right now. And also, just to throw it out there, huge shout out to Sweet Tea. Sweet Tea is awesome. I love that. Sweet tea is awesome. I live down here in South Carolina, so we do sweet tea all the time. Sweet tea is like the drink around here, obviously. And I got a big cup of it next to me. Hopefully I don't run out of it. I think we might have run out of it downstairs, so I'm not too excited about that. Thank you, Sovereign, for the liking and subscribing. I really appreciate that. And would appreciate it if the rest of you did the same. I greatly appreciate the support. Again, if you guys didn't know, while we're in a little bit of a lull, I would say, between significant severe storms, I'm going to kind of explain my story here on YouTube. So I started the YouTube channel back in about, I think it was early to mid-January. It may have been like the 8th, 9th of January of this year. And just started making videos. And honestly, if you go back and watch like the first videos, I mean, they're not great videos, if I'm being honest with myself, but it's the same thing. It's a lot of the same thing you see right now. It's generally it's the same format. It's just my little floating head off in the corner, and it's just me talking about the weather every day. So for those of you tuning into the stream right now who've never seen me before, and you're watching me and kind of wondering what I do, I mean, obviously I do these streams when severe weather is happening, but I make daily weather videos, updating you guys on the upcoming weather, the pattern, all that good stuff. So I have more to offer than just this, but this is also very fun, I will keep in mind. And you said you're watching from Westchester, Pennsylvania, so thanks for tuning in from Pennsylvania. Let's see what you guys are doing out there. Pennsylvania. Yeah, you get some showers, storms rolling through the area right now. Nothing too crazy. Depends on where you are. Maybe some stronger storms kind of off to your south there. But again, if you're just tuning in now, we got a lot going on. A lot of severe thunderstorm watches, a few tornado watches, and then a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings, among other things. We just got a new severe thunderstorm warning up here for 70-mile-per-hour winds. We'll look at that in just a moment. I'm going to take this broad view here for just a minute. So, obviously, you can see here we got a lot of storms. So actually, maybe you can't. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Yeah, maybe you can now. So I'm gonna pause this on the latest one. You can see we got a lot of storm activity up here. We got broad severe thunderstorm activity down here. Some of which to the south is actually a little bit more significant right now, as in it's producing stronger hazards. But we're watching for a big MCS, meaning a mesoscale convective system, to be kind of pushing into the Dakotas over the next 1 to 2 to maybe 3 hours, depending on how long it takes. Hopefully it doesn't take 3 hours for this to get going, because the faster it starts, the faster it ends, right? And I'm sure you guys are thinking that if you're out in these areas, that, man, I wish this would just get over with. So hopefully we can do that. We can get this over with quick, because it's going to be rowdy out there. I'm sure you guys are well aware of that. These storms are going to be a big mess. So let's check in on this new warning. This includes Minot. You guys just saw some pretty nasty severe weather 2 days ago. I was actually covering that live as well, but from Garrison up towards Newtown, eventually Minot, we got this cluster of severe thunderstorms, possibly producing some 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. I'm going to check on the actual radar tower here. Velocity-wise, definitely some higher velocities inbound towards the radar, meaning that we've got some overall some stronger cores in these storms. Again, I think I mentioned this in this morning's video when I was talking about this threat, but overall, these storms may not even look super impressive on the radar, but they're going to have so much wind energy working with them that they don't even have to be. They can be relatively weak storms and still produce some strong wind gusts. And of course, the stronger storms will have both things working for them. They're going to be strong and have all this wind energy, which is why we could see some really, really strong wind gusts out of these. But thankfully, as of right now, this northern cluster that we're watching here in the Dakotas doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot. It might take some time here We've been streaming now for 45 minutes almost exactly, so I appreciate you guys tuning in, spending some time with me this afternoon. For some of you, this is going to be your second time having seen me today. But if you're just watching now, like the stream, subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. I don't even know how many of you. Let's see here. 8 of you have done that since I started the stream. That's pretty wild stuff right there. It's pretty good ratio with the whole algorithm and analytics and all that crap. I mean, honestly, it's fun. And I just told my YouTube story not too long ago. Well, kind of. I told you guys when I started. But the whole point of me mentioning that was to say that I really did not expect any of this to happen, as in any of this to really take off, or there'd be much to talk about with this. I mean, I didn't figure I was going to have decent videos that popped off. Guys, I had a video that hit 7,000 views. I mean, I didn't see that coming. I know that some of you might be looking at me like, dude, that's not high. That's like nothing. And I mean, kind of, but at the same time, it's a lot more than I ever thought I could get. So overall, I was pretty happy with myself with that one. And overall, even just doing this, you guys are tuning in, you're watching. This stream is now at 602 views. We've been streaming for 45 minutes. I mean, that's pretty wild stuff right there. So I appreciate all the support and tuning in here. But I'm going to go and refresh the page. Let's do it like the correct way here. Let's see here. Should be good. Yep. So I'm going to refresh this. I'll let everything load in. We got a lot of layers. That's the thing. That's the difference between this stream and the last one, is that this stream, we've got there's like so many severe thunderstorm warnings and so many reports coming in. There's a lot. And I'm doing this on a laptop. So hopefully this thing doesn't crash out. It actually did not too long ago. That's one of the things I'm kind of looking forward to, is upgrading some gear. So who knows? Let's look at Nick Gorman's perspective. He is right out in front of this storm right now. It looks like his feed might be down, unfortunately. Let's see here. The live video has failed to load. That's a shame. But it is what it is. Nick said, I've been spending my YouTube hype points on your videos for about a month. I appreciate that. For those of you who don't know, you can only do that, I believe it's 3 times a week that you can specifically hype a channel. So I greatly appreciate that, Nick. That means a lot to me. That means you're invested, you're supporting. I appreciate that a lot. Looking over here, let's see here. We do have Nick Gorman's perspective. This is a surprisingly unimpressive look. I want to see as he turns here if this changes. There's some lightning in there. Unfortunately, the further they get out into the Dakotas here, the worse the signal gets, and the harder it is to get a good solid live stream feed in here. But it is what it is. We have various other storm chasers out. We have Mezzo Hunter as well. He's headed towards one of these storms. This is his perspective. Big picture here. So overall, this I can tell you right off the bat here, this storm is outflow productive. So pretty much meaning it's kind of got these scuddy looking, scud meaning just kind of broken up looking clouds. Those are, that's a sign of outflow production. That means the storm is kind of blowing a bunch of wind out of it, and it's pulling wind in, yes, but it's doing more outflow than inflow, meaning that it's kind of, its tornado potential is relatively lower, but its wind threat is not. Now, this storm was warned, and they actually took the warning away, but I wouldn't be surprised here if in the near term they do end up changing that. They give it another warning. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So we just hit 725 subscriber-wise. Appreciate you guys smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel. Make sure to also hit that like button. What that really does more than anything else, guys, is just lets the YouTube algorithm know this video is helping people and they're enjoying it. And if that's the case for you, then make sure to do that. So I'm going to change this goal once again. You guys are actually surprising me a little bit. I'm going to change this to 730. Let's see here. How are you guys doing out there? Let me know where in the world you're watching from. Because some of you, I got a comment, I think, on the last stream here, someone watching from the UK. Let me know if you're watching. You're lurking here in the comment section. I know a lot of you are. Let me know. But I think what we're starting to see here, big picture, is that we are seeing some consolidation of these storms now into kind of one little cluster. These are what, guys, this is, again, it might not look impressive. This is what can get those wind gusts really pumping, and I think it's going to, especially the further east we get in time with this. But overall, we're cooking. We're good right now for the most part. Let me know. I mean, How are you guys doing down here in Kansas? You got some severe thunderstorms rolling through. Let's take a minute to focus on these two. So Dodge City up towards Hayes and Norton, Kansas. There's kind of just broken line of storms going through this area. None of them look too crazy, but we've seen some strong wind gust reports out of here. So keep that in mind with context involved and all that. And we look over here just south of Nashville. We got some storms. These look to be losing some steam, thank goodness. So that's a change. That's a good thing. I appreciate you guys liking and subscribing, making sure to I try to keep a good eye on the analytics here, because for those of you who were here on the live stream, I was really bad about looking at this, what we're looking at right now, looking at the radar and looking at what you guys are saying on the chat. One of my friends actually managed to spam the chat, I don't know, 15, 20 times, and he actually had to text me separately on my phone and tell me he was spamming the stream because I was not looking at it. So I'm trying to do my best here, and yeah, just drop a comment down below, and I will see it. I have a separate laptop open beside me so I can actually see that. But either way, I got sidetracked there for a second, distracting myself. Let's look back up here in North Dakota and see what's going on up here. So these storms, again, kind of like I just mentioned, starting to consolidate. We have like one large cluster here. But again, it's going to take a while before we can really see any significant changes in the way these storms look. Here's a loop here. So obviously they're going, but you're kind of seeing this kind of clustering up look. I am watching for a new warning down here on this storm just to the south of Elgin, I'm assuming, or Elgin. I do storm chase. In fact, I really like it, and it's a shame because over here in northern South Carolina, I barely had a chance to, purely from the standpoint of the atmosphere has really forgotten how to do much more than just be cloudy or sunny over here. It doesn't really do a whole lot over here, but I have storm chased. I've gotten some pretty cool pictures as well. Maybe I could show those on a video one time, but only local stuff, unfortunately. I would love to be out here chasing these. This is the cool stuff right here, but I do storm chase. I really enjoy it as well. But yeah, we are watching for a new warning on this storm just to the south of Elgin or Elgin. I'm not exactly sure. Over towards Carson, Flasher. This storm looks like it could be getting its act together again. Rotation-wise, not really any. Just a little bit of maybe some broad rotation on this storm, but overall, not anything too crazy. So, big picture look here. Zoom out. I'm gonna do a few things here. I'm gonna take the alerts off. There we go. So we got a big cluster of storms starting to get going here. We also are watching for some blips in South Dakota. In fact, I think in just a moment here, I'm going to go ahead and pull a satellite up. The satellite's always cool to look at. And we have a lot of storm activity down here, some of which have been severe here and there, and a lot of storm activity across this area. But there's a sharp cutoff in the Virginias, or specifically Virginia, the Carolinas, Georgia, points south, where we kind of have some ridging in place, and storms are struggling to mess with that, and they're not really able to get through there. Let's do what I said I was going to do. I'm going to poke over here to satellite and look at what's going on here. So this is the latest satellite loop here of about 30 minutes to an hour. So you can see these storms. They're up here. They're getting going, right? And you see overall down here in South Dakota, I mean, there's some high cloud matter, but there's not a whole lot. It does look like there's an area of agitated cumulus right here between Lemon and Dupree. I'm assuming is how you say that. In South Dakota here, which is where we could see the development of some more storms here shortly. Let's go ahead and jump back over to the radar, turn the alerts back on, and see what we got here. So we did all right. Look like that. Isn't that weird, guys? We talk about something and it just instantly happens. So we were talking about these storms as they form down here in South Dakota. I was just pointing out on satellite. Looks like there's a storm there, and they just severe warned us. A new severe thunderstorm warning for a Macintosh. That's pretty much it. It looks like that's Watauga. Watauga, I think is how you would say that. You guys have to correct me. Any of you that live in these areas, you guys are going to have to correct me because I don't live here. I'm really not great at reading these names and then pronouncing them correctly. But new severe thunderstorm warning for those areas for 60 mile per hour wind and 1 inch hail. Nothing you guys can't handle, but could be some gusty winds and maybe some small hail approaching you guys soon. Main severe thunderstorm warning to look at right now is this one up here, including Newtown, Garrison, and Minot, North Dakota, where we have 70 mile per hour wind gusts that have been observed by a weather station or something, where we got to watch out for those. So overall, this is, in my opinion, one of the more concerning storms that we've got. Looks like our storm chasers are just generally in the same spot. They're not really moving. Mezzo Hunter is headed south here, maybe trying to get some of these South Dakota storms. This is Mezzo Hunter. He's a well-known storm chaser here in the community. This is what the storm he's looking at looks like. And again, I think I just mentioned this a few minutes ago, but this storm, I can tell you right off the bat here, is kind of is an outflow producer, meaning that it kind of, the only thing that it's really good at is making a bunch of wind. It's not really great at, you know, producing tornadoes, at least not right now. The reason I say that is because you can kind of see this cloud matter is kind of flat on the bottom and it's kind of stretching out. And that's just a sign of outflow production. Looks like he just cleaned his windshield. That's a shame. But anyways, taking a bigger picture look, we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning issued here for 1.75-inch hail just to the south of Halliday. So this is a big storm for you guys down here. I'm going to look at the actual radar on this and see what that looks like. Yeah, there's some pretty large hail in there. You can see right here, there's this little like extension of radar, if you will, radar coverage. That's an area where pretty much the radar beam is hitting the hailstones, hitting the ground, and bouncing back up. So literally these hailstones are big enough in here to the south of Halliday to deflect a radar beam. Let's look higher up in the storm here. My goodness gracious. Yeah, this is you guys in Halliday, get yourselves inside, get your pets inside, get your cars inside. Anything that you can get inside that you don't want to get destroyed by hail, get it inside, because this is pretty crazy. Some really large hail in these storms. Let's take a bigger look at these. And for the most part, nothing too crazy with these. This storm up here, just to the north of Alamo, I mean, it has a bit of a hook to it. I will say, let's look at velocity here. Not really. So not a whole lot of rotation on that storm, thank goodness, but we will watch out for it. I don't know. For the most part, the only real areas I'm concerned about are these storms down here. We have what we call this in the radar community, guys, the radar community. The weather community is a three-body scatter spike, pretty much, again, where the radar beam hits large hailstones, gets deflected into the ground, and then comes back up and into the sky, and the radar doesn't know what to do with it, so it creates this little area right there. And so that's a sign, it's a telltale sign that you got some really large hail. Let's look at the closest tower here. It looks like that's this tower. Yeah, that's some pretty insane stuff. I mean, we have, what is the decibel number here? We have some 75 decibel, 77 decibels in here. That's pretty wild. You guys are going to feel this in Halliday. I hate to say it. This is going to suck. So make sure you are ready for it. I know that the radar we're looking at here is a little behind. Let's use this one. I'm going to change the setting here. It makes this look a little bit prettier. There we go. Oh, wow. That's a whole lot better. So, yeah, there's the latest look there. Hopefully, this storm finds some sort of way to weaken. Doesn't look like it's going to be completely honest with you. Yeah, it's just going to drop some massive hail. I mean, guys, it could be hail. Let's see, they have it warned here for 1.75-inch hail. I wouldn't be surprised if they upgrade this to like a 2 to 2.5-inch hailstorm warning here based on what we're seeing on radar. Otherwise, not really anything new. Right now, these storms are just kind of doing their thing. Looks like storm chasers might be overall kind of headed to the south here. A lot of their directions are pointed south. But overall, again, let's take a look at this. It's been like 20 minutes or something like that since we did this. I'm take a zoomed out look here and switch over to the Outlooks tab in Weatherfront. So this is today's risk area. We got an enhanced risk across the Dakotas, Minnesota, Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma. A lot of states here, a lot of square mileage to cover here. Surrounded by a slight risk, surrounded by a marginal risk, another slight risk over here in the Mid-South. Looking at the threats themselves inside of this, we do have a 10% risk of a tornado within 25 miles of any given location in this yellow shaded region, including these cities that you see on the map. I'm not going to name all of them. This is what we got. 5% around that, 2% around that, another 2% risk to the north of Nashville here. Now, the main threat today, and this is, I almost got distracted here. I don't know what, I was like thinking about something else. 45% wind risk is the main risk for today. 30% around that, 15 around that, 5 around that. And the black dashed region here is where we could see hail, or not hail, but more specifically wind here, hail too. But we're watching for wind gusts upwards of 75 to 80 miles an hour. And the hail threat is this. Same idea here, 30% risk, and with that black dash region, we could see some very large hailstones, upwards of 2 inches. I wouldn't be surprised if we get even larger hail than this. Yeah, that's the latest that we're looking at outlook-wise. So I'm going to jump back over to the radar here and just keep coverage going. So I'm going to put this on loop and look at some of your comments here. So yeah, we just hit 7:30. So I appreciate you guys liking, subscribing, smashing that subscribe button, as some people say, and myself. Appreciate you guys doing that. It means a lot. We're again on the way to kind of eventually reach 1,000 subscribers, 750, 800, all the little milestones that you could count up inside of there. So I appreciate you guys doing that. Really do. And thank you for telling your friends. I appreciate that a lot. So now, keep an eye on this. Overall, what we're seeing right now is just a cluster of storms between Washburn and Minot, North Dakota here. It is producing some strong wind. We got a 70-mile-per-hour wind gust report here, 75-mile-per-hour wind gust report, actually, by specific number here, just to the south of Garrison. So let's look at the actual radar data for this storm here. Yeah, there's some. Watch out if you're between Garrison and Cole Harbor. There's some nasty wind in this storm right here. That is just kind of headed up to the north here. So if you're in any of these areas, you guys are going to start feeling it here soon. Obviously, we got some reports out here already, but just keep an eye on it. Multiple radar towers show it, so there's another reason to be not concerned. Again, there's no reason to be concerned, but just invested in this. Keep an eye on that weather in general for sure. So again, big picture. Big cluster here, some more isolated development to the south. We are watching all these blips could eventually become severe thunderstorms. We got some storms around the South Dakota-Nebraska border here that produce some stronger wind gusts. Let's go back in time here. So let's see, these may have actually lost some steam over the past few frames here, so overall, that's a good thing. Then we drop down into Kansas. A lot of nasty storms here, although generally not anything you guys can't handle. This is not bad at all. I mean, this is all right, but it's not anything crazy here. And we get down into the panhandles here. There is a stronger thunderstorm approaching Dumas, I believe is how you'd say that, and Dalhart is how you'd say that, I believe. Again, guys, if I butcher your city name, don't get angry at me. Just drop a comment and tell me how to pronounce it. I did this on the last stream, and by this I mean I literally Googled how to pronounce some of the city names in North Dakota because we were spending so much time there that I was like, well, I might as well get these right, you know what I mean? And it was worth it, but for the most part, we got a lot of coverage here of storms, so I do want to make sure we get these cities right. So if you're just tuning in now, like the video, like the stream that is, subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot. I would appreciate it. And drop a comment in the comment section where you're watching from, especially if you're in the risk areas for today. Make sure to let me know. And I'm not going to promise you anything, but I might be able to kind of help you out a little bit with what your region could expect in the coming few hours here. Big day, definitely, especially across the Dakotas for some damaging wind gusts. So with this in mind, let's jump into the future here. I'm going to go over to the model output here. I'm going to zoom out and just focus on the Dakotas and Nebraska more than anywhere else. So we'll take this view here. This is one of the latest runs. This right here is the latest run of the HRRR sub-hourly model. This is a model that I look at in the near term to show us where things are going to be happening. So it is now about 6:30 Central. So let's take that to here. So it's picking up on this pretty well, right? You got these clusters here, a few scattered storms down further to the south, right? We go a little further in time though. And maybe in the next 45 minutes to an hour, we kind of get this consolidated look from Minot down to Bismarck and a bunch of other cities, obviously, where this is starting to cluster up a bit more. And this is what, as it marches to the east, and we got another little cluster down here around Pierre up to Aberdeen area. Again, this is what's going to likely produce those even stronger wind gusts. I'm going to back this up to right about now, and we're going to look down at the surface at the wind gusts that could come out of this, particularly in the Dakotas here. First off, starting now, I mean, you got some really strong wind streaming out of the south to the southeast here, and wind gusting in the 30s and 40s here, bringing all this really warm, moist air up to the north. We'll continue this on, and again, these pockets of like yellow, this is where we got some pretty strong surface wind gusts. We're already seeing these. This is not something that's developing in the future. This is happening now. I think that it's going to get more widespread in the future here, but we definitely have some higher wind gusts within this, and it just pushes it off to the east. And this is getting a little bit later. This is about 9, 10 o'clock. This is what we're looking at here. So could this be a derecho? Maybe. I don't think so, based on what I'm seeing right now. I mean, the model guidance that we have access to is not necessarily saying a definitive no to that, but I would say no. I would say that there's more of a chance that this is it's a high impact MCS. It produces strong wind gust across a large area, but overall, to meet derecho criteria, I believe you got to have wind gust of like 80 miles per hour on a widespread basis. You got to have a long track of like 300 or something miles, I think is what the number is. I might be wrong on that. But I don't think we've got potential here for this. Of course, it could be, and I think we'll figure out pretty quickly if it is. Over the next hour or so, this could change quickly. As of right now, this is nothing you guys can't handle. This could also change very quickly here. So we'll keep an eye on it and just keep watching it. So I think I mentioned this a few minutes ago, but I got to keep my voice overall warm here because I'll be talking for a while. So how are we doing out there? Where are you guys watching from? Especially anybody in these risk areas. How about that? Answer that question for me. Is there anyone watching the stream right now that is in the risk area for today? In the marginal, slight, or enhanced risk? I know some of you are because some of you have dropped that comment below already, but you got to let me know. As of right now, the most significant severe weather is around Minot. We've got a 70 mile per hour wind report inside of here. This looks messy, and again, I think I said this not that long ago, but these storms may look messy. I mean, you see this big cluster, and you're thinking, man, where's that super pretty supercell look that I wanted to see? Well, I mean, we're probably not going to get that. We're going to get this real messy, squally look, meaning that's just kind of clusters and lines of storms, but they can produce a lot. We already have 75 mile per hour wind gust report. Yeah, this one's 75 miles per hour. So there's nothing little about that, if you will. And overall, our storm chasers are headed south, which I find interesting. The Otis project, which they do drone stuff, they send drones into tornadoes. Honestly, I would much rather you leave my stream and go search up the Otis project on YouTube and check out some of their videos. They've got some crazy footage over there. Definitely go over there, subscribe to their channel, support them on all social media. They do some pretty cool stuff, but they're out here. That's them right there. They're headed east towards this storm, or sorry, they're headed west. These storms are kind of clustering up, though, so we'll see. So the other storm chasers here are headed to the south. Mezzo Hunter, let's see what his view looks like right now. Yeah, he's got a nice look here, up underneath the edge of one of these storms, the leading edge, that is. So this is Mezzo Hunter's look. He's a well-known storm chaser in the community here. He's kind of up underneath one of these storms. You can see the turbulence on your screen here. And again, I said this before, but it's hard to get good service out here. So these videos may be a little bit, kind of grainy, or not the greatest quality, but it is what it is. It is very nice footage to have. So there's the latest from Mezzo Hunter. We'll keep an eye on this. Overall, these storms moving up to the north here are definitely strong, but they're really messy too. So let's check on this storm around Halliday. You guys got to let me know how you're doing there, because what we were seeing not that long ago, this thing was producing some just absolutely massive hail. So back this up. So it looks like it's transitioned out of a hail producer, maybe into more of a wind producer. Good velocity here. So yeah, not really either one. I mean, we have a 60 mile per hour wind report out of here, 62 mile per hour wind gust. And we were talking about this in the last stream as well, but you're going to see reports here that say NDAWN on them. See, it says right here, NDAWN. That's North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network. I believe that's exactly what it stands for. And that is, obviously, that's just where, that's their agriculture network. They have those out there for just research and data collection and all that good stuff, but we're going to see a lot of reports from those. Thank goodness. I mean, honestly, I would rather we got reports from those than people, because those are obviously automated. They're not going to get it wrong, but there are also a lot of them. We have way more coverage of NDAWN stations than we do people, which is great. So hopefully we get good reports, quality reports out of this area, and overall continue to see what we need to see. Guys, this hat is itching. Good grief. And unfortunately, I made the stupid decision to be outside over the past few days without any bug spray on here in northern South Carolina. I mean, it's probably the dumbest decision I've made in quite a while here. So I have bug bites all over me. I might even have to get up here over the next little while, and honest to goodness, go put some itch relief cream on or something. I don't know, man. It's bad. My legs, my feet, all over. No, just a perfect piece of like personal information you guys really just asked for, I know. But anyways, big picture look here, cluster of storms in the Dakotas here, watching for more development down here in South Dakota. Some decent storms rolling into Nebraska here. None of them look too crazy though. And we do have more storms down here, but none of these look super, super crazy right now. Honestly, I don't think if any of what we're seeing right now is super, super super concerning or life-threatening. I think the more life-threatening stuff is going to be up here in North Dakota right now. But even that, I don't think that this is anything you guys can't handle overall. So this is just my opinion. Some people might have different opinions on this, but that's just my opinion here. So let's take a look at satellite. And we did this a second ago. Let's take a look here. So again, you can see these storms kind of bubbling up here. There is development down here for the most part. You can see some cloud tops kind of bubbling through there. So I would say that probably over the next, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 minutes, we could see more storms fire up down here. But we may not. Man, excuse me. Not until later, that is. I mean, it's possible that it happens real soon here, but I'm thinking this probably won't be until a little bit later that more storms get going down here along the synoptic cold front that will be kind of trailing along with this system. So that's just my general thinking. It's not necessarily perfect, but it is what it is. So look at radar here. I'm just going to leave this on loop. So I'm going to leave this right here, and we'll just keep monitoring this. Again, I mean, obviously there's other stuff to the south that we need to watch, but overall I think that the general trends of this cluster of storms are going to be really important to monitor here. And for the most part, it probably won't be, it's pretty seamless sometimes how these things transition from, being right on their own to suddenly this big line of storms. And it wouldn't be surprising to me that it doesn't take another, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 minutes before we have a really solid line of storms developing here. But honestly, the longer that these things stay discrete, we're going to have an even longer duration large hail event, and we're going to have an even longer, possibly tornado event. Fortunately, right now, we've not really seen any rotation that's significant in these storms, which is obviously a good thing. So hopefully that continues to be the case. I really was not a huge fan of the Storm Prediction Center's choice to keep a 10% tornado risk. As you see just below me here, I've got the risks, the maximum risk for each threat highlighted, and I am surprised that they kept a 10% tornado threat because model guidance really didn't like the idea of doing a whole lot over there. Now, on the topic of tornadoes, I do want to keep an eye over here. We have storm chasers over here for a reason. And because I think it's possible that in this area, you see some blips, maybe little ones right here, there could be isolated supercells that form out ahead of this line of storms in the, just in the warm sector here out ahead of them that could go tornadic pretty quickly. Not to say they will, but they could. And I do want to watch for that. But overall, I don't think that this is something over here. You may have seen some people talk about this on YouTube. I really didn't talk about it in this morning's video. I probably should have more because there is a threat of that. But overall, the main threat is just going to be this big MCS. Could even be a derecho, but I don't think it will be. It's very possible that it is. We've seen crazier things happen, but I don't think it will be. So we just got to keep watching for it. Let's take a look at the rest of what's going on here. Let me leave this on the latest frame here. Reload the page, let everything come back in fresh here. So we got some nasty storms down here in Kansas. Nothing you guys can't handle. Just some damaging winds, maybe some small hail. Honestly, they don't look any crazier than what we've got going on up here in the Dakotas. And then just thunderstorm activity down here across the mid and deep south. Nothing you guys can't handle down here either. For those of you wondering, I live right here in that circle. So I am streaming from the good old state of South Carolina here. And I mean, I like it here. Don't get me wrong. But as a weather nerd, as myself, I hate the weather here sometimes because we don't really get a whole lot of, honestly, anything here. But it is what it is. So I'm going to do some background things. You guys have absolutely no idea what I'm doing right now. I am doing magic here, and I am inside of OBS Studio where my stream is coming from, changing some things. Maybe you guys saw that happen. I have no idea. But make sure, if you're just tuning in now, to like this stream, subscribe to the channel, and also drop a comment down below where you're watching from, especially if you're in the risk area. Specifically, liking the video or stream does a lot to push that video out to more people. And I'm not going to sit here and say we're providing life-saving coverage. I'm not going to do that because that might be a little bit dramatic. But I like what we're doing here, especially, I mean, honestly, I'm straight up enjoying this. This is just fun to stream. The only thing about it is your voice does get quite tired. It doesn't take very long for your voice to get tired here. So either way, I'll keep an eye on this. I'm going to keep messing with some settings here, but mainly I'm just going to hop back over here. So nothing new really. In fact, this storm cluster, I'm not going to say it's weakening, but it doesn't really look like it's getting its act together really like I thought it would, to be honest with you. I mean, it's produced some strong wind gusts, but it looks like it might be struggling a little bit to really get going here. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if that changes. Let's see what our storm chasers are doing up here in Canada. Let's see what you guys are doing. Edgar O'Neill's up here in Canada, just to the north of Long Plain in Manitoba here. Wow, his feed is all screwed up here because I guess he's a little bit too far from some sort of tower here. Honestly, it looks like a lot of these people might be. It looks like it could be, maybe, that weather front just crashed out again. So hopefully that doesn't happen. This is the second time this has happened now, messing with somebody's live stream. It is what it is. These storms up here in Manitoba, I mean, again, I think I mentioned this earlier, Environment Canada is essentially the version of the Storm Prediction Center that we have up here in Canada. And, I mean, they issued a level 4 out of 4 extreme risk for today, which is the second one in 8 years. So, I mean, it's not crazy necessarily, but it's definitely uncommon that they've done this, and definitely some nasty weather out there. Hopefully, I can get weather front to unfreeze here, because it is, I don't know what it's doing. It looks like maybe it just freed up. It did. So there's a whole lot of lag. Maybe this is the problem. I'm going to reload this again. Again, as I mentioned to some of you, I'm doing this on a laptop. It does not love what I'm doing with it. Making it do quite a lot here at one time. But anyways, Nick said, enjoy that weather in Carolina. Yeah, I know. I mean, I should. And I shouldn't be wishing for this, but honestly, the weather can get so boring sometimes. When it's always sunny or always cloudy, but it doesn't ever do anything with it. I mean, typically, we're in a rain slump here in South Carolina. So we've been in a drought for what feels like years. Honestly, I think we have been since like the mid 2020s, early 2020s. That is, we've been in a drought. I don't know, but I mean, as I talked about not too long ago, I could use the chance to storm chase a little bit. I mean, I should show you guys a picture sometime, put it on a video or something. But I've got a storm chase rig on my dad's car. This is pretty much full time. It stays on there like all the time. And it's got like a weather station on it for temperature, and I have a roof mount anemometer that I have engineered to sit above the roof at a specific height. And I know I sound like an absolute nerd, and I am, but I love using that thing. It's really fun. By the way, here's the latest. We got these storms ongoing, cluster right here. These storms kind of are, I don't know what they're doing here. It's kind of messy what they're doing exactly, but again, that's for the best. Hopefully, these storms continue to look like a big mess, and they don't really organize into anything. But I'm not going to bet on that happening. We just got to watch it. I think overall, the long-term trends are what's going to tell us the story here. Here's the overall look without those alerts, so the screen's a little bit more clean. I mean, you see, this is our main cluster. You see all those storm chasers and reports up here, and just this large corridor of storm activity to the south, and a lot of widespread shower and storm activity across the east here. But if you are not aware, we're going to be watching primarily for damaging winds up here in the Dakotas. This is the latest outlook. We have an enhanced risk up across the Dakotas, Minnesota, Nebraska, and Kansas, and technically also down into the Oklahoma Panhandle. So watch out for that as well as far south as there. Inside of this, tornado threat is relegated further off to the north here, but is significant. We have a 10% risk of a tornado within 25 miles of any given location. These black dashes going across the screen indicate potential of upwards of EF2 tornadoes. So possibly strong tornadoes are on the table here. And then our wind threat is the main driver of this. We got a 45% risk of damaging wind gusts, 30 around that, 15 around that, and 5 around that. Black dash region indicates potential for upwards of 45% risk, guys. I got to get my numbers straight. That black dashed region indicates potential for upwards of 75 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts. So it's definitely possible we get some pretty significant severe weather today. Hail threat also relatively elevated, but not in comparison. Just a 30% risk here. We get these are relatively common. I mean, it's an elevated threat by definition, but it's not super uncommon. That's why I say that. So we jump back over here to radar and just get the general idea. So Kansas dealing with some storms rolling through the central areas right now. Otherwise, nothing really too crazy there. Now we do have a tornado warning. Let's see when this was issued. Not too long ago. So for Oxford, technically around Oxford, not for Oxford, but Holdridge and Axtell. This would be Nebraska. Yeah, we do have a tornado warning. And this will be approaching Kearney soon enough. So I want to look at the actual radar data here, see what this shows. So velocity-wise, I mean, there's definitely a couplet here. You guys are going to be feeling this wind right here just south of the border, or sorry, just north of the border here, just north of Alma, and just to the south of Holdridge. But there's a little bit of a velocity couplet right in here. So let's watch out for it. I don't see a big debris ball or anything like that that's really got my eyes, but we'll keep an eye on this. Look at a radar loop of this thing. So yeah, this is real messy convection. This is kind of the way it's been. But yeah, we'll keep watching this, and hopefully we continue to see this thing kind of look like a mess again. I mean, this is the latest. This is a really broad area of rotation, which is why I'm not super concerned about it. So hopefully it continues to look like that. And jumping back over here, messy. I mean, as it has been for a while now, it's just a big mess. So hopefully, again, if we can maintain a real messy look, that'll be great. One thing I do find interesting, though, do you see this? There is an area now of just kind of a line of storms. This could connect itself up towards New Salem, Washburn, Garrison, Minot. There could be additional development in here. So eventually we get this big line. And once these things really consolidate together, that does make the overall threat of damaging winds start to go up. So we do want to watch out for that. New severe thunderstorm warning just issued for 70 mile per hour winds. Are these observed? They are not. So they did drop the observed tag for these. We will see if that continues. This is the latest. This is for Sherwood, Glenburn, a bunch of other cities in here as well. Towner, Upham. I don't know how you would pronounce that. Down towards Butte and Turtle Lake. So pretty large warning there. Keep an eye on that. I want to look at the large radar here. So I'm a little surprised that they've got a warning this far north with a complete lack of precipitation in that area. But it is what it is. They are the experts. They are issuing the warnings, not myself. Probably for good reason. I'm not an expert in this. 2-inch hail report. First 2-inch hail report in this area, just to the west of Wild Rose here. Yep, 2-inch hail reported near Alamo. Sorry. This storm kind of looks like it's got a hook on it, just to the west of Wild Rose here. So I'm going to jump over to the actual radar. It doesn't look quite the same there. Maybe a little bit of one. Look at the velocities here. Weak rotation. All these storms are rotating just a bit, but not really, just barely here. But yeah, the main risk area that's a main area that is under a risk in the near term is going to be around Minot down to Garrison over towards Washburn. It looks like our storm chasers for the most part have headed south. They've kind of abandoned this cluster. And I think that what they're thinking with this is that there's going to be a line that kind of emerges in this area that they want to watch out for. What I find interesting is Nick Gorman is kind of heading out behind these storms. Maybe he's trying to get these over here from Terry up towards Glendive. I'm not entirely sure. But it's possible that he's doing that. And again, we have a tornado watch down here all the way into South Dakota. And we have another one down here in Nebraska. Some storms in this area. Let's check on that Kearney tornado warning here around Holdridge. So they just updated this For 20 more minutes, you guys got to stay in your safe spots in this area. Again, this is kind of a big mess. I don't really think that this is a big life-threatening thing right now. Let's look on these velocities. Yeah, this is just some really broad rotation, but look out if you're in these areas. See this big area of blue starting to develop right here, just north of Alma, just south of Holdridge. You guys are going to feel this. This is gonna be a big punch here. There's a lot of wind right in this area. Let's look at some of these. Yeah, 60 to 80 miles an hour wind gust-wise could be possible in here. And you can see those reports back in the history here. 75 miles per hour has come out of this before. So it is possible. And I would count it nearly likely that just to the south of Holdridge here, there is some wind damage occurring right now. So keep an eye on that. Overall down here, further south than this, looks kind of messy and not super concerning right now. We do have, obviously, this, I think in the near term, it could be that this line of storms right here is what we need to watch out for, kind of the additional development of eventually. This storm cluster up to the north is struggling to do a whole lot. It kind of looks messy here, and I thought it would, but it's not really changing a whole lot. It's still kind of a big, just a big mess. It's not really consolidating into anything, which again is a good thing. That means our forecast could be busting, and again, if that happens, obviously that's a good thing. Nobody's going to complain about that except for some weather weenies out there, but it's what it is. I might have to go get a refill on that soon enough. Sweet tea is just excellent. I'm very surprised. I came up here with a half cup of that stuff, and I'm very surprised that any of it is still here. But yeah, anyways, definitely I would say almost that we're in a lull right now with any significant threats. I mean, we've got these warnings, but the storms themselves don't look crazy. I would watch out from Minot down towards Max. This is going to be a strong cluster of storms, and then to the west of Minot, between Parshall and Berthold, we have this storm that also could be on the stronger side. But I don't think that it's something that we're in any immediate threat of crazy damaging winds. I don't think so. We'll see if any reports come in here. Dropping down to the south, again, nothing too crazy down here. Dropping to the east, definitely nothing crazy here. So I think the highest concern warning is going to be this tornado warning just to the south of Kearney. It's surrounded by a 70 mile per hour observed severe thunderstorm warning here. There's some rotation. Let's look at this radar tower again. So yeah, if you're in Reagan down towards Huntley, you guys are feeling it right now. It's quite windy there. Some really strong wind gusts occurring in this area, but overall the rotation is very broad in here. I would never rule out a very, very quick, brief tornado. I wouldn't do that. However, I really don't think that there's much of a signal that there's a tornado actually on the ground from this. I don't think there is, based on my knowledge of this. So we'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully we continue to see this, but as of right now, that's what we're seeing. So if you're just watching now, make sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel. Also drop a comment in the comment section where you're watching from, especially if you're in the risk areas for today, as we've got a lot of ground to cover. And if you are in the risk areas today, I hope that there's some way I could maybe ease your worry if you are worried today. Hopefully you're not, right? Hopefully you're prepared and not super terrified of this. I mean, severe weather is scary, but thankfully right now we have nothing to be scared of in any of these risk areas. So I'm going to leave this here and go and check on what you guys are saying over here in the comments. So yeah, looks good over here. And guys, you got to let me know down below any of the kind of logistics of the stream, right? Is the audio coming through clear? Anything like that? Is there anything that's wrong or that you wish was different? Let me know. So, excuse me. Now, looking over here, just to the south of Bismarck, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for 60 mile per hour winds and hail just over 1 inch in diameter. So we'll watch out for this. This is kind of the start, I think, of what could be one of our linear segments of storms that produces stronger wind gusts. So watch out. If you're in Cannonball, guys, Cannonball shows up again. Cannonball strikes again. So this is something, this is kind of a lore drop. For those of you that weren't here watching the stream that we did 2 days ago, I absolutely, I mean, it was late. I was tired, and I lost it when I figured out that there was an actual city in North Dakota called Cannonball. I'm not exactly even sure why. Looking back on it now, I almost find it ridiculous, but there is a genuine city. I believe the town is there's like less than 900 people that live there. But either way, interesting. But from Bismarck down towards Cannonball and Fort Yates, you guys are going to be kind of in the near-term impacts of this thing if it continues to look the way it does. Looking at Mezzo Hunter's perspective here, he's facing away from the storm as he's headed to the east, so we'll keep an eye on that. The Savage Post says, you're in Omaha, Nebraska. No one knows if they'll even go here, so I'm assuming you're talking about storms. There's a lot of CAPE. Yes, there is an absolutely ridiculous amount of CAPE out there. All the right ingredients, but maybe too late. It may be. I'm going to check on you guys down there, just for what it's worth. So, yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot going on, except for the western areas in Nebraska here. There's some kind of down here, but generally not a whole lot going on. But I would consider yourself lucky. Hopefully... this does find a way to avoid you. Of course, though, if you are a little bit like me, right, we don't want severe weather to impact high population centers, but severe weather, once you kind of find out the science around it, you consider it cool. It can be fun to track it, and almost, I don't even think it's wrong at all to almost wish that you could be impacted. You know what I'm talking about? Like, wish that you could experience some really strong wind. Like, I feel like that would be cool. But looking at this tornado warning again, I don't want to ignore this. This is probably one of our highest criteria warnings right now. Velocity, again, this is a really strong convective complex right here between Holdridge and Hildreth in Nebraska here. And we do need to watch out for this over the next few minutes when it comes to some really, really strong wind gusts here. We do want to watch out for that. Possible wind gust upwards of 80 miles per hour inside of here. When it comes to that tornado warning itself, really, really broad rotation, and I wouldn't be concerned about this really at all. So I'm going to change this back over to a reflectivity, and we're going to jump up here. Let's check on South Dakota here. How are you guys doing in South Dakota? We do have some development starting to go here. Overall, not anything too crazy, but there is something showing up here. We'll kind of watch over the next 30 minutes or so to see if this changes. But I am liking what I'm seeing with this area of storm starting to develop. I mean, I shouldn't say that. It doesn't look good. I don't want to see this. But it looks to be gaining strength here. So if you're in Porcupine, make sure to watch out. Mezzo Hunter is passing through your city right now. I'm going to stop this here and check on some velocities from the radar here. Not anything too wild, so... not yet. We'll see how that changes, if it changes at all. And we do have a tornado warning from Velva up towards Minot, Granville, Deering, and Glenburn, North Dakota here. So let's see. I'm going to switch over to the actual radar tower here. We got a really close radar tower for high quality information. Overall, guys, why the likely reason that they issued this warning is purely from the standpoint of being cautious. I don't think that they're genuinely wondering if a tornado is going to touch down here. I think the reason that they did this is anywhere, especially along the leading edge of where these stronger velocities are, you can get a lot of turbulence and end up getting some brief QLCS tornadoes. It's happened before, probably happen again today. So watch out for Minot down towards Velva. This is where the strongest winds are right now. And especially if you're in Norwich, Surrey, Granville, Deering, you guys are next to be impacted by some really strong wind gusts. Maybe some of the strongest you've seen in either a really long time or maybe your lifetime. But I think you guys can handle this. This is not super outrageous stuff right now, so I think you guys can probably handle it. Hopefully, this continues to kind of look messy. But either way, there's the latest there. Definitely some strong winds coming towards you guys. And we'll keep an eye on that tornado warning as well. Any new warnings? Not really. Pretty much the same things going on down here, which is good. Again, the longer we can kind of maintain this kind of average look, the better. But of course, for the most part, I think we're doing fine with our forecast here being on track. I think that as we get further into time, we are going to see a big line of storms develop. It's just a matter of how strong it is. It's possible that it does develop and it's kind of weak, and hopefully that is the case. But yeah, I definitely just want to keep an eye on it. And again, we got plenty of time ground to cover here. I mean, it's 7:02 Central, 7:04 Central. So I mean, we got plenty of time, a few more hours at least before this threat starts to I mean, we may have another hour before this thing starts to peak at all. It's very possible. So with that in mind, actually, with having said that, I'm going to go here. I'm going to take the Dakotas and Nebraska view here, and we're going to switch over to the model guidance. And I want to show you guys, let's see if we have a new model. We do, not a ton of it here. I'm going to show you guys our future radar simulation here. So I'm going to take this back. It is now, it's going to be 7 Central, or right about here. So let's see. This is, again, the latest HRRR sub-hourly, meaning it goes in 15-minute intervals. So this is picking up on all this pretty well. Although, one thing it does have wrong is, number one, this development. This has not happened. And a lot of this development has not happened either. So take this with a grain of salt, what we're looking at here. But we go forward in time to about an hour from now. And you still see some storms here. These could be tornadic over here to the east if these happen. But keep in mind, the reason the HRRR showed these is because it initialized them earlier, and they are not really happening, so we'll keep an eye on that. But for the most part, we do have just a large area of storms getting going here. We go another hour, and I think it's starting by now to really get its act together in a few different areas, and that's where we got to watch for possible development of a really strong storm system and move this out further in time. And yeah, it's very possible. Who knows? This happens, and then it continues, and it looks like our model guidance ends here. So yeah, this run has not gone far enough. I do want to now, I'm going to drop it down to the surface here. Let's look at some wind gust possibility. This is a model. This is not perfect. It's just general idea here. So we continue this on in time. There are little pockets in here. Some really strong wind. I mean, look at what's happening down here. Really strong wind gust in this, possibly 80 miles an hour, if not more. It's possible. Yeah, there's the latest model guidance wise. I know that's kind of just a quick way to look at it, but I do want to keep an eye on that because model guidance is helpful, especially in kind of figuring out what could possibly be happening. You're upset, yeah. So I get that obsession. For sure, I absolutely get that. You saw a tornado. That's one thing for me. I've never actually seen a tornado with my actual eyeballs. I've seen it plenty of times on a screen, but I would love to see an actual tornado. And definitely, I would agree with you. It stirs something up in you that you didn't know you necessarily had. What's happening in Wichita, Kansas? What is happening in Wichita, Kansas? Absolutely nothing. It's hot and humid, and that is about it. You don't have any storms. Let's see here. You don't have any storms within about 100 miles of you. So you're looking good in Wichita, although you might not be later, so we'll keep an eye on this. Some strong storms kind of approaching the Great Bend area, just to the east of Hayes at this point. And they dropped the tornado warning for the storm just south of Kearney, Nebraska here, but it's definitely a big storm. 70 mile per hour observed wind gust that we need to watch out for. Heck yeah, Sean. I see you in the comment section now. I almost texted you. I appreciate you finding the stream on your own. Anyways, new severe thunderstorm warning just to the north of Phillip here in South Dakota over towards Midland. Again, these storms as they form are going to go severe pretty quick. So I do want to kind of mention that because I do think that's going to be the case. And this one is warned for producing some 60 mile per hour wind gust and maybe hail just under 1.5 inches. Could be a little bit larger. Let's check on this tornado warning up here. So I'm going to take a really zoomed in look at this. Let's look at the radar tower here. So some heavy rain in the very least. Definitely some heavy rain in here. And velocity-wise, yeah, you guys are probably feeling it. I mean, it's hard to pick out individual areas of possible rotation in here, but it's very possible that multiple areas there are some rotation. Honestly, I would treat this if you're out ahead of this. If you're a person watching this stream right now and you're in Deering or Granville or any city out ahead of this area of blue that you see right here, I would treat this generally as a tornado warning. That's what I would do. There is rotation along the front of this thing. Across the entire front of it, there's a lot of turbulence and rotation. That's just how these things work. And because of that, treat it as a tornado warning, get in your safe spot, hunker down for 10 minutes, and you're probably going to be fine. You have a 99% chance of not seeing anything, and we want to make sure. But it's definitely some heavy rain. You guys are going to be feeling it in Surrey, Norwich, Granville, Deering over the next 5 minutes. Glenburn as well. You guys are under this tornado warning, and Bantry for the next 36 minutes, according to this. So I'm going to drop this back to here, and we'll just keep an eye on it. I'm just taking this big picture look. My computer loves this look a lot more than the actual radar tower look specifically, so there is that. I think, because my voice is already getting tired here, I think I'm going to go get a Coca-Cola from the fridge. Obviously, shout out to Coke, right? You can see the shirt here. Um, Before I go, though, we do have a tornado warning for noon in North Dakota here. There was a rotation report, rapidly rotating wall cloud 1 mile to my west. So this is going to be right in here. We do have this report here of rotation. So let's see here. And let's see, what did we just get here? Tornado in progress with ground vertices 500 yards to my west. So we have a tornado on the ground here just to the south of Noonan. Unfortunately, the closest radar we have is still pretty far away, so we don't have the most high quality information, but you do see an area of rotation right in here. So, fortunately for us, there's not a whole lot of people out here, but definitely watch out. If you're up towards Noonan, Larson, or Columbus, this is heading up towards you next. Specifically watch out in Larson and Columbus. I think it might miss you in Noonan, but it could deviate. So treat this, obviously, as a tornado warning. Get into your safe spot. Have everything you need with you, including closed-toed shoes. Do not bring Crocs. Do not bring flip-flops. In the event you're actually impacted, you don't want to be walking through debris with flip-flops on, okay? Make sure you got closed-toed shoes. Bring a helmet. Bring a mattress if you can. I'm not trying to freak you guys out if there's anyone watching, but it is what it is. We got to treat this with respect here. Respect the polygon, as some people say. I do want to look here. I don't think this is going to show up very well. There's maybe a little bit of debris. Not really, though, which is a good thing. So we will watch this. I'm going to, because this is happening, I'm going to put this on this loop here and take a zoomed out look real quick here. And I'm going to, I think, rush away real quick and grab a mini Coke from my fridge downstairs because my voice hurts. And it's definitely a good thing. A carbonated drink is definitely going to help me with this. But either way, sounds like a good idea. So I think I'm going to do that real quick here. I'm going to mute the mic in 3, 2, 1. I finally found it. I found a mini Coke in my fridge. Heck yeah. All right. Yep. Peep it. Look at that. Look at that right there. Perfect. Um, all right. I am finally back. Took me long enough, but I finally found one. And let's see here. If I can find it. The 140 calories are going to really help my voice feel just that much better. Perfect, isn't it? Oh, man. Love that. All right. Let's see how we're doing here. Let's change. So as of the time I left, which is about, I don't know, 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, we had a tornado on the ground here just to the south of Noonan, according to a report that we got. The warning is still radar indicated for some reason. The actual radar data is really messed up, but it's possible tornado is still on the ground. Check the, yeah, in fact, I would say the tornado was on the ground briefly because there's a little bit of a signal for some debris, but overall, probably okay. And again, there's not a whole lot of people that live out here, but it is what it is here. You guys are going to have to let me know. The mic should be working. It says on my end that there's like no audio. That's bizarre. Let's see here. Make sure we have no technical difficulties. No, we do not. We're good. All right. Yeah, anyway, if you're just tuning in now, make sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Drop a comment down below where you're watching from, and I would greatly appreciate that. Right now we have an active tornado warning to the south of Noonan and Columbus, North Dakota here, just south of the border here of Canada, so we need to watch out for this overall. I'm not super concerned about this storm. I don't think they're going to drop the tornado warning, but I don't think there's a tornado on the ground right now. That's just my thoughts. I'm going to reload this page and make sure we're getting the latest information with this. And guys, make sure to let me know. Again, it still says something about there being no audio. It should be fine here. Yeah, it seems like it's fine. All right, yeah. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. So what we've got going on, I think that's of highest concern, is a very large severe thunderstorm warning for 70-mile-per-hour wind gust, and just to the north and east of Minot, North Dakota here. Tornado warning is inside of this. It'll expire in, it says 27 minutes. They're probably going to let it expire before that. This is starting to impact the radar tower right now, so we have some really high-quality information. Yeah, we do. So this is some really high-quality info, but this is some strong wind right approaching the radar tower. Guys, what I'm really hoping more than anything else is that we don't lose this radar tower, because it is possible that we do. If a really strong wind gust comes in here and knocks the tower out, it is possible. And if we do, that could be detrimental to coverage here. But hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully we can work well with it, or rather without it, if that happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen, obviously. But let's take a big picture look. So obviously we still got this severe thunderstorm warning down here for Flasher and Porcupine. What a crazy name. In South Dakota. You did not miss much, Sovereign. If you're just tuning in right now, there is a tornado warning up here just to the south of Noonan. A tornado possibly on the ground just south of Noonan. But overall, you haven't missed a whole lot. A few tornado warnings, none of them have been too crazy, and overall, this cluster is struggling to do a whole lot. But right now, we do have this storm from Flasher down to Porcupine, North Dakota here, possibly producing some 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and 1-inch hail. Let's check Mezzo Hunter's perspective. He was just facing the opposite way a second ago, I thought, but does not look like he is now. We have another strong storm between Phillip and Cherry Creek, South Dakota here, with some possibly stronger core, and there's some hail and wind damage possible. Drop it further down here, some stronger storms. Nothing crazy, though. I do want to watch this. We do have a destructive severe thunderstorm warning for 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts for Minden. Is this Nebraska? Yeah, it is. So for Minden, Nebraska here, we got some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts on the low end. We're talking about some 60 to 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible. This will get over towards Roseland, Hastings, up towards Doniphan, Kennesaw, Norman, over the next few scans here. Let's see what the radar, the closest radar. Yeah, this is impressive stuff. Nonetheless, I mean, this is we got a core in here. Let's see how fast it's actually going. 82 to 85 mile per hour wind gust. According to radar, which is not, it's not perfect, the beam is going to be off the ground a little bit, so it's not perfectly at the surface. But even without that, it is pretty impressive. So you guys need to be, I would honestly, I said this I think yesterday, treat this as if it's tornado warning and shelter. Get away from windows. Make sure to protect your life and property with what you feel like is necessary, because 80 mile per hour wind gust is roughly that of an EF1 tornado. So if you're unfortunate enough to actually be impacted by these winds, then it's going to feel probably, and the damage could be similar to that of a tornado. So that's, again, not to scare you, just to be realistic, because that's literally what the rating for an EF1 tornado is, I believe, around 80 miles an hour. This tornado warning was just edited here for possibly hail upwards of nearly 3 inches. Some really large hail. You see this kind of purple and pink area showing up to the south of Noonan. So if you're in Noonan or around there, could have some really, really large hail. Let's look at the radar tower here. So yeah, I mean, look at the past few. Yeah, some really large hail in there. Looks like there could be a little bit of a hook forming to the south of Larson and Columbus here. Get our velocities. There is some broad rotation, I would say. I mean, just right in here to the south of Larson. And maybe a little bit of debris being lofted, but it's probably already been lofted, and we're not lofting more of it, thank goodness. So I'll keep an eye on that. We just got a new mesoscale discussion here. And what these things are, you see that kind of this kind of blue area. Let's just get a big look at it. Right across the Dakotas here is talking about something that could be happening soon. So I'm going to open this up, and we're going to read it off here. And get a little bit of Coke so that my voice doesn't give out mid-speak here. So they say, and I quote, summary, damaging wind potential increasing across northern portions of this tornado watch that we're looking at right now in northern North Dakota. Tornado potential may increase over the next couple of hours. As again, we're seeing right now, there are some storms possibly producing tornadoes as of the time we're speaking. They say thunderstorm development continues along the cold front in the central Dakotas this evening. The mode, as the storm mode itself, has favored a quick transition from supercell to clusters, given mean layer shear vectors largely parallel to the front. So pretty much, we talked about this some yesterday. If you got a big front that say straight up and down, when storms form along that front, if the wind forces those storms parallel to the front, right, they're going to run into each other, which is what creates this big line of storms as opposed to, some individual ones, right? So that's what we're talking about here. Nonetheless, a few supercells have produced hail up to 1.5 to 3 inches in diameter. So let's see. Across central North Dakota, radar analysis shows a cluster developing a broing structure with winds around 65 to 70 knots, or 60 to 75 knots. Sorry, you got to get this right. So that's some pretty strong winds. Yep, all right. I've read all that. And then tornado potential continues and may increase through the evening. Initial storms developed in the lower dew point air mass across the western Dakotas are now moving into a region of richer low-level moisture. So that's the further east that they move. Essentially, that's going to be the stronger they can get. And while the storm mode may not favor maintenance of discrete cells, line-embedded circulations will pose potential for tornadoes through the evening. So it is possible we see an increase in tornado potential here. And overall, I still maintain we're likely going to see an area overall of more like, kind of connected storms. You see it kind of broken apart right now, but I feel like that's going to change soon enough here. Let's see what Meso Hunter's looking at. He keeps kind of going back and forth along the edge of this. What a perspective. Let's see if this will load in a little bit higher quality. This is crazy stuff. And you see this mean look right here. And all this rain shaft. He's kind of going up to the north as this thing moves towards him. So we'll keep an eye on his feet. It's possible that we watch him get impacted by this. We'll see. Otherwise, looks like everybody else is kind of doing their own thing out here. And right now, honestly, I would not say there's anything too crazy about this that we need to really be concerned about. We have some nasty storms. We're going to check on this destructive severe thunderstorm warning for Minden and Kennesaw, Hastings in Nebraska here. Let's see what we got. If they upgraded this at all, 80 mile per hour observed. Nope. So, yep, still remains a destructive severe thunderstorm warning for these areas. So, let's check on this. Again, from Minden over toward Norman, we got some really strong wind gusts in this area. This is coming towards Holstein, Roseland, and Ayer in Nebraska here with the core of this. But you guys up further to the north are obviously still inside this warning. So this is kind of expected to move up towards you guys and put this in motion. You can see that moving up here. So you guys are going to feel it. Again, treat it as if it's a tornado warning because it pretty much is. Think about 80-mile-per-hour wind gust. That is very close to that of an EF1 tornado. So essentially, just treat this as if it's a tornado warning. And you're going to be the most safe that way. So we'll change this back here. Here, we'll keep our eyes on this. I honestly might just focus on that over the near term here because that looks to be one of the worst storms that we've got to keep an eye on right now. I'm going to jump back up to this tornado warning around noonan, see what it's looking like. It has another about 20 minutes on it, but the big question is it actually producing right now? It's very possible. We have broad rotation to the south of Columbus here, and it's possible that it does something around Larson, but I'm not super concerned right now that it's going to do that, so we'll keep an eye on this. Just see what it does. I'm going to leave this on the latest frame. I'm going to go ahead and reload this, actually. Let this thing refresh itself. It's been a little while since I did that. All right. How are we doing out there, guys? Where are you guys watching from? How's it going? How long have you been watching for? The stream has been going for about 2 hours, and we probably, let's see here, we probably got another 2 hours to go, really, before this starts to possibly wind down. It may not wind down for another 4. But it is highly unlikely I will still be around for that. Mainly because I live here on the East Coast, and it might be late for you guys, but it's even later for me. And I mean, I would stay up, but I have a family here, and I'm in the same house as them. Pretty much all that to say, they really don't want to hear me talking at 1 a.m. So I probably won't be around for 4 more hours, but a couple more for sure. I think that's a given here. Unless this really just does not materialize, I don't think that's what's going to happen here. Let's check again on Mezzo Hunter and his perspective here. And it's starting to get impacted by some rain. We'll see if that changes here soon. So, honestly, I would say right now the more impressive area is this right here. This little cluster of storms that formed around Norton and then went up through Alma, Hindreth, up towards Minden. We had an 80-mile-per-hour wind gust, 2 of them actually observed here. From some personal weather stations. So definitely some strong wind gust in here. And again, if you're in Norman, Hartwell, Kennesaw, Holstein, Roseland, Ayer, Juniata, Hastings, any of these cities out ahead of this, treat this as if it's a tornado warning. It's producing wind gusts that roughly match that of an EF1. So yeah, I'm going to leave this here. Looks like they just changed this warning. 17 more minutes left on that one. And both of these are still radar indicated. So nothing too crazy with these. If you're just tuning in now, make sure to like the stream and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. We are on the road to eventually 1,000 subscribers. Obviously, that's what everyone wants to hit if they're doing this early on in their journey. But 750 is kind of the goal that I have set in my mind for the month of June. So hopefully we can get there. I think we will be able to. You guys have been very supportive over the past little bit of time here. And just in general, honestly, if I'm being honest with myself, you guys have been supportive from the beginning. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for areas just south of Bismarck over toward Linton, just to the west of there, for this cluster of storms. Again, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and 1-inch hail is possible. They're really just continuing it. I think this is one of those ones that over the next little bit of time could start to be more significant. So we do want to watch out for that. But overall, I think we're all right now. For the most part, overall right now, other than the stronger severe thunderstorm warning that we've got down here in Nebraska, I think we're all right. And I think you guys probably agree with me. For the most part, we're doing okay. But we do have some stronger wind gusts reported down here. So this is, again, for 80-mile-per-hour observed wind gusts. So we got some strong wind gusts in here. That, again, approaching the strength of an EF1 tornado. So treat this as a tornado warning. Don't know why all the other reports were not here yet, but there they are. Let's look at the actual radar tower data here. Look at these winds. Yeah, you guys are feeling this in Norman. Now, let me know if anyone's watching from in and around Norman in Nebraska here. You guys are feeling this. This is a really strong core. Let's see what one of the maximum pixels shows here. It just got an update. I mean, that's not right. There's no way it's 133 miles an hour. That's probably some contamination. But for the most part, 60s, 70s, maybe low end 80s max here. Just right around Norman. Again, Holstein, Roseland, Air, you guys are next to be impacted by this. They just changed this warning. Let's look at this one. So same thing, they just kind of trimmed it off here to be a little bit slimmer. This could expand and impact you guys up here as well. I do think its main track is going to be right down here though. So with that being said, let's actually do this the right way. I've got the right tools here with me. Let's go ahead and I'm going to draw kind of along the front edge of this strongest area of wind. So we're going to go out to the east and just assume that it's going, I don't know. Let's make this realistic at about 50 something miles an hour and change this to 30. So over the next 30 minutes, here are some cities that could be impacted: Holstein, Roseland, Air, Glenville. That's the main areas I think that need to be more concerned for the actual highest impact area of wind from this system, from the storm complex over the next 30 minutes. That's not to say that if you're not inside that area I just drew that you can't see it. Absolutely not. It's not what that means. It only really means that that's the area that's probably going to see that for the most part. All right. So we'll keep an eye on that storm cluster. We'll drop up here. So for the most part, we got a few different storm clusters kind of growing here, forming together. We do still have a tornado warning for another about 15 minutes or so for noon in Columbus, North Dakota here. Let's check in on the observed radar data from this storm. Looks like it's got a hook on it, just to the south of Columbus here. And yeah, there's some broad rotation here, but it's not anything you guys can't handle. I don't think it's any imminent threat of just dropping a tornado, not right now. So we will keep an eye on that. Here's the big picture look. Let's do this again. I haven't done this in a little while, so let's refresh this. I'm going to physically refresh the Google tab I have that's running all this, and I'm also going to refresh some of our kind of ground truth here. So first off, our severe weather outlook here looks like this. We have an enhanced risk across the Dakotas, Minnesota, Nebraska, Kansas, and down into Oklahoma. So again, a very large area of the country runs a risk of an elevated risk of severe weather today, for good reason. And otherwise here, what I was going to say a second ago was we're going to receive an update for this in about 25 minutes if they're on schedule with it. So there is an upgrade coming, not an upgrade, an update coming to this, and we'll have to see what they do in it. I'm not really thinking they're going to do a whole lot here. They might trim off some of the enhanced risk back here and kind of leave the rest as storms have already moved through some of this area. But for the most part, they're probably going to leave it exactly as they've got it, for good reason. I don't think there's much really to change about this, which is obviously fine. That's nothing wrong with that. So, anyways, we're gonna get some sort of update to this. So we'll see. As of right now, 10% risk of a tornado within 25 miles of any given location in here. I'm not sure that this is going to actually happen. I'm not sure this is going to really materialize. Absolutely, I hope everyone in the risk areas does heed the warnings. Especially, I mean, obviously there's today, but tomorrow is another very big day. Hopefully I'll be able to stream some of that too, because there's a lot for sure. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm not exactly sure that this tornado risk here, especially the highest of it in this yellow, is really going to materialize. Hopefully it doesn't. Obviously we don't want it to, or nor do we need it to. But based on what I'm seeing right now, there really just isn't much of a tornado environment, more of a damaging wind environment, as we're seeing, 5% around that, 2% around that. Wind threat at a 45% risk in this pink, 30 in red, 15 in yellow, and 5 in brown. With these black dashes going across some of this area indicates potential for upwards of hurricane force wind gusts of 75 miles per hour or greater. Hail threat, looking at a 30% risk maximum, 15 around that, and 5 around that. So, that being said, again, they're gonna make changes to this. Probably not any significant changes, but they will make changes to this over the coming 30 minutes thereabouts. So we'll see what they do to it. Let's look at the satellite here and see what that looks like. So you can see our storms forming and shadowing. So still no word on my end if I'm canceled tomorrow. We should be in the Minneapolis area around 5, if not 6. So Maybe, let's see here. This might be a good time to just go over what tomorrow could do here. Let's see. I'm going to jump over here real quick to the radar. We just got a 70-mile-per-hour wind gust report on this storm down here just north of Midland and Phillip, South Dakota here. So they're probably going to upgrade that warning to 70 miles an hour. That's what they should do. I am going to check Mezzo Hunter's perspective real quick here. See what he's looking at. A lot of rain, yeah. As is typical when you go in a big rainstorm, right? Anyways, I think I will go ahead and take this opportunity, unless this has changed. It really hasn't. We're doing fine up here. So I'm going to take this opportunity here. I'm going to look at some model guidance. So I'm going to change this over to the regular version of the HRRR. We're going to go back to the 18Z run here, and we're going to select the future radar. So in Minneapolis, let's just pull this out in time here. So big cluster of storms, possibly into the overnight hours. I can tell you one thing, is I will not be around to be covering this. This could happen, though. This kind of cluster goes up through Sioux Falls, impacts Minneapolis here. So you said 5, 6 o'clock. So 5, 6 o'clock is right in here. You see some storms form here, and I mean these could be some big storms for sure. But they seem to be west of there, or sorry, east of there, and anywhere west of the kind of Duluth, Minneapolis corridor along in here seems good. But I mean, if you're driving from Wisconsin, you're gonna have to obviously kind of go through these. So, well, hopefully you get good news on that, and hopefully, if anything, you don't have to drive through that after all. We'll see. Overall, yeah, here's what we're doing. So we will keep an eye up for another 20 minutes for that upgrade, possible upgrade or big changes to the outlook here. But overall, I think right now, guys, for the most part, I think we're all right. We got some significant severe weather possibly occurring here. But for the most part, I think we're doing just fine. This storm just to the south of Portal, just south of Columbus here, you guys are going to be next kind of to be impacted by some areas of possible rotation here. There is possible rotation just kind of to the east and northeast of you guys in Columbus. That is North Dakota. So watch out if you're up towards Portal, and obviously north of the border here, you guys have a threat as well. There's some broad rotation, but nothing I'm overly worried about right now. And otherwise, I think we're doing fine out there, and for the most part, we're fine. I don't think there's much of a reason to be concerned. Right now, the highest criteria warning, once again, is going to be down here. We just got an 80-mile-per-hour wind gust report just west of Hartwell. So some really strong wind gusts moving through there. 85 miles an hour, technically, is what the specific number is. So some higher wind gusts showing up in here. Let's go ahead and look at the actual tower. And so there's the radar, a lot of heavy rain, lightning, among other things, right? And our wind threat, well, maybe it's kind of come down. You look at the overall trend here, you see some strong wind gusts. Did they just downgrade this? What did they do here? I'm looking at the wrong one. Guys, I'm an idiot. We have another 80-mile-per-hour wind gust report up here, 84 miles an hour. So these are starting. And now there's something interesting about this. Obviously, our radar is right here. So the radar measures things coming either away or towards it. When you get over here and the wind is going this way, from west to east or east to west, it really can't see that. So that is an interesting thing to keep in mind here. That while this radar data may look like, oh, this is really weak, it may not be weak at all. In fact, it may be really strong, but the radar can't pick up on that because it's kind of, it's not facing right. The radar can't see in 3D here. It can see two-directional back and forth, but really it can only see in 1D. It can't see in 2D. It can't see anything else. Now, if the wind was going this way, then it could see it. But the wind, if it's coming this way, to the exact north of and south of the tower, we're not going to be able to see that. So hopefully this passes quickly and we can get more valuable radar information from this, because as of right now, we really can't. But treat this as a tornado warning if in any of these areas. Kennesaw, Hastings, you guys are next up for this. Good opportunity now that we're kind of in a lull here. If you're just joining now, you're just tuning in, make sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment in the comment section below. I will see it. I'm looking at them right now for anything you guys have to say, I would appreciate all the support, and I absolutely appreciate the support we've already received this evening. You say you start up at 6 a.m. Yeah, you should be good in the morning. Most everywhere across the Midwest for tomorrow, but once you get into the afternoon, it's a different story for sure. Um, excuse me, but I will say one thing about this is these storms up here in North Dakota are absolutely taking their sweet time in doing much of anything. They were modeled to be a lot more put together at this point in time than they are right now. I mean, not that they're not doing anything. Let's be honest, they're doing something. It's just they're really not doing a whole lot here. So we'll keep an eye on this. But for the most part, it might take a little while longer, and maybe it will. It may just not happen. So I'm going to keep an eye on this storm here because it is likely going to be the worst. So we're just going to watch for updates in the radar information for this. And yeah, we'll just keep an eye on it. So this is the latest here. We have a Boeing line segment going just like this, just to the east of Kearney and Minden, Nebraska here. So this is producing some really strong wind gusts. We've seen several reports of 70 to even 80 miles per hour in some instances from this storm, and we're likely going to see more. But what we're doing right now is passing directly to the north of a radar tower, meaning that our velocity data that comes from the radar tower is essentially going to be completely worthless here for a little bit until it passes. You think about like this, you got a big line right here. The radar can only see things that come towards or away that line. Once you get directly on that line, it can't really see unless the wind was going away, right? So it's unfortunate, but there's going to be a little bit of a hole here. We're going to be relying partly on reports and partly on just kind of a background environment and context kind of to really understand what the storm's doing, at least for the foreseeable future. But that's what it is. It's what we have to do sometimes. We'll say this Coke is helping my voice for sure. It definitely makes it feel, kind of better. But that carbonation does not make that feeling last very long. Maybe I should get something else. I don't know. But anyways, this is definitely our highest criteria warning. So I'm gonna center it here. There we go. And we'll just keep an eye on this. Again, this is probably the highest criteria that we've got. And we'll just watch this. Our tornado warnings that we have in North Dakota here have 2 more minutes on them. So they will probably expire, and I don't guess that they're going to continue those right now. They could, but both of those storms don't look too crazy. Of course, I say that. They might do it. I don't know. But we will see what happens. Who knows? So you're just tuning in now. We got a destructive severe thunderstorm warning for Minden, Norman, Roseland, Hastings, Kennesaw, Trumbull, and Doniphan, Nebraska here. This has produced some really, really strong wind gusts over the past 5, 10, 15 minutes or so. And it's likely going to continue doing so. We see these reports coming in. There's one right here of 84 miles an hour. Again, I mean that's pretty much the strength of a mid-grade category, not category, an EF1 tornado. So we just have to. I would just treat this as a tornado warning. And speaking of tornado warnings, let's jump up here to North Dakota. Just got a new one issued here for Columbus, Lignite or Lignite, don't know, Flaxton, and Portal in North Dakota here. So looking at the actual radar tower information here, you see that, we see this. So there's broad rotation between Columbus and Portal here. I don't have any reason necessarily to think this thing's on the ground, but it could be shortly. So we will keep an eye on this for sure. But overall, I'm really not super concerned. We'll see what they do here. They made some changes to this one in Nebraska here. So this is for just out ahead of this destructive severe thunderstorm warning. It is possible that they upgrade this to destructive as well. But really, we just have to keep an eye on the main destructive, and we'll see if they continue it. Honestly, I think they will, because this has not really shown much of a sign of significant weakening at all. We still continue to see 70, 80 mile per hour wind gust reports coming in here from this storm. So keep an eye. I mean, look at this swath of wind gust. I mean, how about this? Take this. One of you who's watching right now, one of the 7 of you that's actually watching right now, pause this, and then try to count how many how many of these little numbers you see here. These are the number of reports that there are from this storm, and see what they are. I mean, I don't even have a guess. One of you do that and let me know, because I'm not doing that. But that's a lot from a single storm cluster, and we're probably going to continue to even see more over the coming little bit of time here. So I'm going to reload this. It's been way too long since we did. We do have to watch here in the next 15 minutes for a possible update or upgrade to the severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. Overall, I don't think they're going to do that, but it's possible that they do. And honestly, for the most part, right now, I would say that our forecast for the Dakotas region is not busting, but it's really struggling to get its act together. A lot of model guidance showed a much more consolidated area of storms by now. So we'll see how it continues changing. I mean, it's very possible that, over the coming 30 minutes, things change quickly. Things change quickly in general with weather like this, but for the most part, it may not. And it's possible that this just remains this kind of messy, not really put together area of storm activity that doesn't really do what we were thinking it was going to do, and that's possible. But keep in mind, let's go from here. Let's look at the outlook itself. We have a lot of enhanced risk over here. We got a lot of ground to cover, and again, I don't think I'm going to be here for all this, but we have a lot of ground to cover here with this outlook. And so, we're only really right in here right now. We got, let's see here. I'm curious. We have another 200 something miles inside of this. Now, that's not to say that we have another 200 miles specifically of risk area, but we have the whole point of saying that is we got a lot of ground to cover before this is really done. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But for the most part, we'll just keep an eye on this and see what we see. We see a strong storm cluster south of Bismarck here, although it really is not. I mean, it's kind of strengthened a little bit here. Let's look at the radar tower data. I haven't done that for this storm in a little bit here. So it's getting closer to the tower. So there's definitely some stronger wind gusts inside of here, but not really a lot. Pretty relatively weaker. Mezzo Hunter, it looks like his stream might be down. Most of these people's streams are down right now, so we'll see if that changes. But for the most part, heavy rain, lightning, among other things, moving towards Bismarck right now. And for the most part, we just got to watch as this cluster continues to very slowly organize and maybe march east. Storms down here in South Dakota and western Nebraska are not looking so bad themselves right now. We have some severe thunderstorm warnings on these. 70-mile-per-hour wind gust report came out of areas just north of Martin, South Dakota here for 66-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So some strong wind gusts also being reported in here. So we got to keep an eye on that. Any of you tuning in right now, make sure to like the stream and subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot. Also drop a comment below where in the world you're watching from, especially if you're in one of the risk areas today. Let me know, and maybe I can kind of not give you a forecast, but almost kind of look over your area for today or the coming days. We got a lot of severe weather out ahead of us as well over the coming days. And taking a look here, they did downgrade this to a 70-mile-per-hour wind gust observed severe thunderstorm warning. I think the reason that they did that is because we're not getting new reports here of anything, and so they do want to be cautious about overstating the significance of this storm. But I think it honestly is very possibly producing 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So let's look at the radar data from this. So we look at velocities here. Yeah, again, and this is what I was talking about. The further, once you get to the direct north of a radar tower, it does get hard if wind is moving on the y-axis here. If it's moving from west to east or east to west, a radar will not pick this up if it's directly north or south of it. And if it's directly to the east or west, and that wind is moving, exactly north or south. I know we're saying a whole lot of directions here. May make no sense, but it makes it hard for the radar to see things because it can't see the direction of things in two directions. It only sees them in one, towards or away. So, anyways, we'll keep an eye on this, and hopefully we continue to see, a general decrease in these winds in here. We will see how that goes. We see several 80s in here. There's a lot of strong wind that was reported from this storm for sure. So we'll keep an eye on that. There's the latest there. So you guys are feeling it in Kennesaw, down towards Roseland. You're about to be impacted. Hastings, up towards Wood River, Doniphan, and Trumbull. Now, we did get a new severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of this relatively recently. 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. It's not there yet. I'm pretty sure they're putting this out early enough to literally warn you guys, let you guys know that, hey, there's something coming towards you that's going to be strong. So go ahead and get those trampolines secured. Get yourselves inside, get your pets inside, get your cars inside if you can. There's also some large hail in this storm, so just significant severe weather for sure. Jumping up here back to North Dakota, not anything crazy going on up here, and really this is surprising me at how little this is following what model guidance showed was going to happen. But either way, that's obviously kind of like I mentioned, it's a good thing. We wanted this to happen, so it's not too bad. A few of our storm chasers are headed to the east now, maybe trying to get out ahead of this. And we'll see over the short term here if this area of showers and storms starts to consolidate more. It looks like they just changed something about this. Yeah, they just trimmed it off a little bit. So 60 mile per hour wind gust and around 1-inch hail for about 10 more minutes in areas like Selfridge, Fort Yates, Cannonball. Again, Cannonball is a wild city name, but it is what it is. And then up towards Bismarck. 10 more minutes on that. Strong thunderstorm impacting areas of Stanley, North Dakota here for another, this says 40 minutes. And we'll have to watch for that. Sovereign said you just got an update from your boss. Let's see what he has to say here. Overall, the North Dakota threat that we're seeing right now is not too crazy. Overall, right now, we'd have this tornado warning. And let's look at this real quick. But overall, we really don't have anything too crazy. So here's the radar information itself. And we have very, very weak rotation. In fact, if any at all, anymore in these areas. So that'll cross the border soon enough, and it won't be the responsibility of U.S. weather forecast offices. That will be handed off to Environment Canada meteorologists. Shout out to them. Looking down through the rest of the risk area, nothing crazy. Other than this storm cluster right here, we really don't have anything too crazy to cover. Which is a good thing, right? I think we're gonna go in lulls. We're gonna go up and down here between covering a whole lot and not covering a whole lot of anything. We'll see what happens. But we have some storms in Kansas here. We have storms in Nebraska. Some stronger than others. Watch out up towards generally Grand Island. Areas around Grand Island, we want to keep that at the forefront of our minds if we're there, because we have a strong storm cluster generally approaching us. Excuse me. So, for any of you tuning in right now, make sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Greatly appreciate that. And liking the video, the only thing that really does is push the video out to more people where we could be providing some helpful information to them. So if you find this helpful, make sure to do that. And of course, drop a comment below, where you're watching from or anything like that. You said you do have to head out tomorrow, so definitely going to be praying for you, man. Yep. So yeah, if you're doing any traveling tomorrow and you're across the Midwest or you're across the northern plains here, Central Plains in general, Ohio Valley, we got some nasty severe weather tomorrow, and like Sovereign has mentioned in the chat several times now. It's definitely a good thing to be weather aware, and if you do have to travel, you have to be on the road for tomorrow, make sure that you've got a way to receive warnings, and preferably you got somebody else to help you with that. That would be the best way to go about it. So, what do we have going on right now? If you're just tuning in, you might be wondering, okay, what are we dealing with? Well, big picture, let's zoom out here, take these off. So, you see a lot of storm activity, right? You see a lot of storm activity up here, and right here, and then more down here. There's actually so many reports that you can't even see this storm cluster. I bet you didn't see that at all. But either way, we're watching all of these as they evolve through the evening. You guys, it's nearly 8 o'clock Central, so it's not too late at all. It's about 9 o'clock my time here on the East Coast. So we're getting later. We've been streaming for about 2.5 hours at this point, but nothing we can't handle. We did 4 hours before, so we'll keep going as long as we can here. And if you are just tuning in now and you want some context, we were really thinking as meteorologists here. I obviously say I'm a meteorologist. I am not a meteorologist. I am a 16-year-old weather nerd that lives in South Carolina. That's what I am, really. But we were really thinking that this line of storms forming here could be a lot more significant by now. It might be just taking its time, or maybe it's not going to. It may take it until it's over here, which is a ways off, before it does much of anything, if any at all. So we'll keep an eye on that, and hopefully we continue to see this messy, not put together look. That would be helpful, obviously. The more we can do that, the better. So Anyways, I'm going to turn the alerts back on here. Definitely a lot shows up on your screen for sure. We do have some nasty storms. I want to cover these two for a minute here. Approaching Indianapolis, Indiana here. Now towards Bloomington. Eventually here we got some strong storms. Let's turn on the actual radar tower. And it's definitely some stronger wind gust in here. Nothing you guys can't handle, but it's something, right? I'm going to turn on the main look here. And yeah, for the most part, these are just 60 mile per hour storms. But yeah, some nasty weather moving through this area. They did have a little mesoscale discussion about that, nothing too crazy. And we do have some more shower and storm activity across areas of Georgia, Alabama, and the southern Appalachians, Tennessee, and other states as well. So keep an eye on this. Obviously, the main severe weather is expected to be off further to the west. So I am going to work some what probably is going to appear as editing magic. In fact, here's a quiz for you. Watch the whole screen. Don't focus on one thing. I'm going to change one thing here really quick, and I want to see if you guys can tell me what it is. So what just changed here? I changed something. What is it? One of you can probably tell me. You'd probably have to be paying really, really close attention, but I changed something on screen here. You have to tell me what. But anyways, back to more important things here that are not just ridiculous. Again, I mean, kind of like I was saying before, not really anything too wild to cover right this moment. We see storm clusters, lines of storms moving around here, but for the most part, our storms have held off on doing anything too crazy here. They've done some things, right? Brief tornadoes, some large hail, definitely some damaging wind gusts have been observed, especially down here in Nebraska. Look at these widespread alerts and observations here. These reports. Let's check on the radar data down here. Looks like it's kind of maybe falling apart a little bit. Yeah, it's possible that between the time this thing, started passing the radar tower and the time it actually fully passed, it may have weakened, and hopefully it has. For you guys' sake, we'll see. We'll keep watching. For larger scale context here, this tornado watch has another 4 hours on it, and they actually have trimmed some of these counties back here. That's why it looks a little bit odd on the back side of it. So they have trimmed that. So there's just a look at that. This tornado warning down here in Nebraska has another 4 hours as well. So we got a while to go here. Again, a lot of ground to cover, time-wise especially. So if you're just tuning in now, make sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel, etc. Greatly appreciate that. Also, drop a comment where you're watching from, especially if you're across the risk areas for today. It would absolutely be helpful that if you guys did that. It would help me out a lot. It's also cool. I mean, I look at the comment section, and it's cool to see where you guys are watching from. Let's see here. Let's look and see if we've got our update. We do not. So this is the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center that we've got right now. So enhanced risk across the Dakotas, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma as well. Slight risk around that, marginal around that, another slight risk over here in the Mid-South. So, this is the latest. Again, they're due for an upgrade. Guys, I keep saying upgrade. Update is the correct word. They're due for an update on this in about, 2 minutes. A few minutes our time here. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully there's not any significant changes. I don't think they're going to do anything wild. I don't think they're going to do they're definitely not going to do a moderate risk. I would be absolutely mind blown if they did something like that. And I also would be pretty surprised if they dropped the enhanced. So overall, I don't really think we're going to go much of anywhere with this. I think we're going to pretty much stay the same, and that'll be a good thing for just being for continuity's sake. So we'll keep an eye on this. They are due for an upgrade here soon. In fact, here's what I'm going to do. You guys get to see me do this on the fly. I'm going to pull up the Storm Prediction Center Outlook page so that we can see this. We can see this live. This will update for us on its own. So I'm going to leave this here and hop back over here. So we'll just keep an eye on this. But anyways, jumping back over to the radar here, do we have anything significant? Yes or no? Kind of. I mean, there's some stuff out here, right, that's worth noting. But for the most part, going up and down the risk area, there isn't really anything that's catching my attention. There's a lot of separate warnings here But none of these are super significant. I think the most significant is going to be the stuff around Grand Island, Nebraska. Within, I mean, let's see. I don't want to make stuff up. Within about 40-mile radius of Grand Island, there's a decent chance of severe weather in the coming hour. That's how I would say it. You got this cluster of storms rolling up through this area, and at the very least, heavy rain, lightning, gusty winds, and some hail are possible. Maybe even an isolated tornado. I wouldn't want to rule it out. It looks like for whatever reason, the reports just turned themselves off. All right. Sounds good. No idea why that happened. We also have a more significant severe thunderstorm just to the west of Tryon, and just to the east of Arthur in Nebraska here, for 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1.75-inch hail. So some larger hail is possible with this storm. Let's look at the actual tower data here. Yeah, definitely some large hail in there. Very weak rotation. In fact, maybe a little bit of a downburst signature from this. So some stronger winds could be possible in the near term here. But for the most part, there's not really any significant threat from this to life or property, which is the way I would like to go about doing this. I'm going to reload this page because for whatever reason the reports are crashing out. There we go. There they all are again. Look at the Canadian side of things, by the way. Look at all these warnings and just widespread coverage up here. It's pretty crazy. Let's look at some storm chaser footage from this area as well. We have Tornado Pagey right here. Just some dark clouds, really. That's the only thing we're seeing. Edgar O'Neill is ahead of her, headed into this. Just some heavy rain. And then we have Ryan Scholl is just to the south of Winnipeg, Manitoba. And he's just seeing some clouds. So we'll keep an eye on him. Overall, they're not seeing anything too crazy right now. Our lower 48 storm chasers right now. Mezzo Hunter is in Bismarck, passing through downtown right now. Just some rain, dark clouds. What else do we have going on in here? The Otis Project's not reporting video, and neither is he. So we'll keep an eye on this. Overall, they actually took away the warning for this area of storm activity between Bismarck and McLaughlin in South Dakota here. So not a whole lot going on. In fact, I'm honestly really questioning whether we're going to have a large area of a big line of storms over the next hour. I'm not sure we're going to. And they just warned this storm around McLaughlin, but overall, this is pretty unimpressive. There's really not a whole lot to this. Pretty weak storms in general. I'm not exactly even sure why they're struggling. See if we can figure that out, actually. Let's just have some fun here. We're going to go to the observations tab on weather front here. Let's look at our dew points. That could be why. So you see a lot of dry air over here. That's what this is denoting. This is our surface dew points. So we're looking at dew points possibly in the 40s and 50s. Now, to contrast this, there's an area over here where we've got, some higher dew points, pretty significantly higher as well. So it is possible that it's just going to take some time for these storms to roll to the east into this risk area, further into the risk area, that is, into this warm, moist air before they really start to go crazy. Temperature-wise, let's look at our surface pattern. So we have general surface low development here. That's a terrible color, guys. I got to pick a different one. Surface low development generally here. Some sort of cold frontal boundary down through here. And it's possible, very much possible, let's find this color here, there's some sort of warm front along in here. It's very possible. I don't know. And if it is, then there could be some storms that form along that later, but overall, nothing crazy. Now, let's look on the severe weather side of things. Let's look at our instability. Well, obviously, these areas, not really anything crazy out here. Of course, further to the east, there's a lot more instability because there's a lot more moisture out here. So there is rhyme and reason to all this, and we look at our rotation. We do have some higher numbers right out ahead of these storms, and along this warm front, there's also some higher numbers. So, guys, if we get an isolated supercell that is healthy out ahead of these, it is possible that it could become tornadic, but it's just not a given that it will. Look at our supercell composite parameter. I mean, there are some high values generally in the Western Dakotas, the Eastern Dakotas. The Western Dakotas look pretty scant on that side, and I'm pretty sure the problem here is exactly that. It's just that we have not a lot of fuel out here, not a lot of overlapping ingredients that really help these storms out. So that may be a reason overall that we have a look like this, where we have storms, but they're kind of struggling to do a whole lot, because I think it's going to take them until they get more into here. before they really start to take off. And it might take some time, but I do feel like they could. So we'll watch out for it. This is a big hailstorm between Arthur and Tryon here in Nebraska. A large hail producer, possibly some damaging winds coming out of that. We don't have any reports yet, but I wouldn't be surprised to get some. We also have some significant severe weather occurring around Grand Island, although it looks like this cluster is starting to kind of fall apart. Maybe not forever, but it does look like it's starting to fall apart here. And otherwise, kind of drop to the south here. Generally, on a downtrend, I would say that the main area to watch for future development is going to be right in here, along that cold front. What's the instability in Kansas? Drop down here, and we'll go over here. Instability-wise in Kansas, I mean, a lot. We're looking at 3,000, 4,000 joules in northern and northeast Kansas here. A little bit lower, around 2,000 joules in eastern, east central, southeast Canada here. Western, did I say Canada? Kansas. Western Kansas not looking quite so insane here, but definitely a lot of instability out here. This is the highest end, up towards 5,000 joules per kilogram of this. Pretty crazy stuff. Rotation-wise, not a whole lot. Supercell composite, if it'll load in here. Well, yeah, a little bit. It's really relegated off here, so we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. It's very helpful to see all this stuff for sure. Looking at the big picture here, we do have a short wave right here. There's another short wave down here. But for the most part, this is, I think, one of the things that's kind of working against us here is we somewhat have relatively weak wind shear with this, and that does favor a more linear mode with these. It doesn't favor as much these isolated supercells, out on their own. But this coupled with a lack of instability across right in here is probably why these storms are struggling just a bit. But as they go over here, maybe a little bit less wind shear, we have some divergence. These winds up here going this way, these going off this way. There's a slight void being created. Let's just pick a different color right here, so that we could see storm development shortly across this area. And we've got our low-level jet. I mean, it's ripping and roaring here across eastern North Dakota, the eastern Dakotas in general, and western Montana, but there aren't really storms here yet. We compare this to this. Our storms are not there yet. They're going that way, but as they work their way in, this is where we could see some things, and we do see some blips, probably from that divergence. So we'll keep an eye on it for sure. Just got to watch it. So definitely overall, just a pretty chill look right now. So I'm going to put this on loop here, and I'm going to take just a second here to maybe stretch my legs or something. So what do you think about Harvey area? Harvey where? You have to tell me what state, because I have no idea. I'd be more than happy to let you know, but I don't know what state. North Dakota, southeast of Minot. There you are. I would say that over the next, 10, 15, 20 minutes, it's possible that, these storms, let's zoom in a little bit more. These storms start to intensify overall over the past, 30 minutes or so of frames. Let's pause this here. These appear to are beginning to strengthen just a bit across the side. They're obviously not warned. That doesn't mean much of anything right now. We watch trends here more than anything else, but there is a decent signal for these to start strengthening, and you guys could be some of the first out in this area to start to develop a little bow echo. So if you are in Minot, or to the east of there, Harvey, Carrington, Devil's Lake, out ahead of these storms, if you're in this circle, there's a lot of you probably watching that are in this circle right now. You do have a shot at possibly seeing some severe weather in the near term over the next probably 30 minutes to an hour or so. So I'm going to put this on loop, zoom out here just a little bit. I'm going to take my mini Coke, as you see here. I'm going to step off to the side, stretch my legs a little bit, and hop right back on. You are absolutely welcome, Survivor Ronnie. Appreciate it. All right, guys. How are we doing? I feel a lot better. Stretch my legs a little bit, move around, use the restroom. Feel great. Yeah. All right, let's check again on what's going on out there. So, I think what we left off with before was just generally, these storms as in North Dakota specifically, and South Dakota, as they start to move east, they're going to encounter a lot more moisture than they had before, leading to what is likely just overall a higher potential here. So I'm going to jump over here and see if we got an update. We do not. So they are late. They're like 15 minutes late at this point with getting a new outlook to us. So hopefully this will not continue to be the case. And they're due for an upgrade here, or a change to this outlook. We'll see what happens. Yeah, there's nothing. But yeah, here's the latest threats. We'll see. All right, but yeah, jumping back over to weather front here. Let's see what's going on. Now that I got back here, I'm gonna pause this on the latest here. We're gonna break down what's going on in the atmosphere right now. So we're gonna use the RTMA tool and look at our dew points at the surface. This is the latest. This was as of let's see here, not that long ago. I mean, I can't even do my math here. About 30 minutes. It's about 30 minutes ago here. And this is our dew points at the surface. So realistically, especially in the higher elevations, we need about 60-degree dew points, thereabouts. We can do with less, but we really do need more to get more significant severe weather going. So you see across the eastern Dakotas here, you see some more. I'm going to change this to red so we can see it better. You see mid-60s across these regions right here. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and reload this. Looks a little bit laggy here for some reason. But we can see we've got, higher moisture out here than we do further west. The storms are generally right on this boundary, like right across here. That's where these storms for the most part are. And because of that, I think they're struggling a little bit. But as they start to move into this much more unstable, just more soupy air mass, it's very possible that they will, begin to strengthen. I'm not thinking that they're going to strengthen to this absurd strength necessarily. They have potential to, but they have a lot more potential for growth out here. And we look at our temperature. It's warmer out here. It's cooler over here. It's more stable further west. Now I'm going to change this over to this, and we're going to look here at what our cape might be. So look at our mixed layer cape. Again, there's a lot out here. Let's change the colors here. So you see just a lot of cape out in this area. 2,000, 3,000 joules per kilogram, which if you didn't know is a lot. It's far more than you need for robust severe weather. And these storms, again, are right along this boundary. So as they start to move into this, this region of a lot more unstable air, they will have potential to start growing more and just be more robust. I'm not saying they're going to be, but they have potential to be. And that's what we need to watch for. So with this in mind, I'm going to check on this again, see if they did this. They have. So let's check it out in the Weatherfront app here. They have finally updated the outlook. So as we figured, they didn't change a whole lot. We've got generally the same idea. Enhanced risk across these areas. They did not really trim it much, a little bit, and they've kind of taken it out of the Oklahoma Panhandle region. It's a lot of the same, though. And they even expanded it over into Minnesota a little bit more, and even into Iowa now. It ended further over. So there are little extensions, little changes that they've made here. So let's look at our threats. Tornado, 10% risk up here. I'm surprised that they keeping this. I really thought they would have dropped it by now, but they have not. They are still confident that across this yellow shaded region, there's a 10% risk of a tornado within 25 miles of any given location here. And the threat of strong tornadoes is still in place. These black dashes you see going across this indicate potential for upwards of EF2 tornadoes. Surrounded by that is a 5%, and surrounded by that is a 2, right? We got our wind threat. It's the same as before. 45% risk of damaging wind gust in this pink shade, 30 in red, and 15 in yellow, 5 in brown. Again, black dashes indicate significant wind gusts possible, so that is 75 miles per hour or greater. Hail threat, exactly the same as before, 30% with a SIG 1 indicating potential for hailstones upwards of 2 inches. So, moral of the story, they really didn't do a whole lot with this. It's kind of the same general idea as it was before. So we look at the radar here. They've got this mesoscale discussion that they just issued. Let's go ahead and see what they're talking about. Additional storm development is expected across central Nebraska tonight as ascent, so lift, increases with the nocturnal low-level jet. Further intensification of the western supercells and line segments is expected. So let's make this simple for us. The stuff that's going on out here in western Nebraska, as it moves into here, is expected to get stronger. That's what they're saying. For the most part, it's kind of crazy. The storm cluster that went through Kearney and through the Grand Island area is still strong, but it weakened quick. Like it weakened up pretty fast. Overall, what are we seeing up here? I think we're starting to see what we finally expected. A general connecting of these storms. I say general because there's still breaks in this. But again, as they get over here, we need to watch the atmosphere over here. There's a lot of instability. There's a lot of heat. There's a lot of moisture over here. And there's not over here where these storms currently are. So as they move into a new environment, they're likely going to take on a new look on radar. And by my knowledge of this, they're going to start to strengthen. That's just the way that this should go. But again, most of this line is not even warned right now. So keep that in mind. For the big picture wise, we're doing fine here. For the most part, we're fine. We do have a tornado warning just south of Indianapolis here. This tornado warning is radar indicated, so we don't have anything necessarily too wild to worry about here. A little bit of broad rotation here. Could have put down a really, really brief tornado. In fact, it appears that it did. I do apologize for not seeing this earlier. I'll definitely try to get that this area more in the next few minutes here. But either way, not to get sidetracked here, I think that we're seeing generally the right things when it comes to the way the forecast was supposed to evolve and everything like that. I think we're doing fine, but we will just need to watch the trends and see how this stuff changes over the next 30 minutes or so. Generalized statement for sure. So if you're just tuning in now, make sure to like the video or like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and share it as well with other people so they can see it. And liking the video also does that. It's a way the algorithm can more further understand that this video is helping people. So if it's helping you, make sure to consider doing that. As of right now, I think we're in a little bit of a lull between anything super significant. I mean, not that there's nothing, but there really isn't a whole lot going on here that's super noteworthy right now. Of course, this could change, but we do need to keep an eye on this. So I'm going to check on a few things here. We should be all good. Just make sure everything's working well. And when it comes to analytics, we should be just fine. But yeah, make sure also if you're watching now, make sure to drop a comment in the comment section where in the world you're watching from, especially if you're across the risk areas. Definitely if you're across the risk areas, because you guys are kind of the most important to me. That you guys are safe over the coming hour or two. And you can see here, I think this is a good tell of the story. It's a subtle one though, is the fact that our storm chasers that are here are all headed to the east now. They're trying to get out in front of this stuff because I think they're saying the same thing that we are. I think they got the same idea, is that this stuff is expected as it moves this way to start increasing in strength. So what I think they're going to do, you see this blue highlighted area I just clicked on, that I believe they're going to do another one. I did not mean to actually have blue circled, but I think it works well. I think they're going to do another one, kind of in this region, or maybe this region, or something like this soon. Maybe not like in the immediate future right here, but soon, discussing the potential for increasing threats here over the coming hour or so. So I think that's possible. And again, as we looked at a few minutes ago, it's very much a reality that the eastern Dakotas are much more supportive for severe storms than the western Dakotas are. It's just how it is. And I think that these storms are literally right on the dividing line between just a bad air mass for storms and a good one. And I think that as they start to make that transition, that will change. So we plan to be here. I mean, it's 9:25 my time. I got plenty of time left before I'm going to think about hopping off. I think the latest I would go with this is I don't know, 11:30 or maybe midnight at the latest. I do have my entire family is in the house with me here. I'm not alone. I'm in the bonus room, so they do need to get to sleep at a reasonable time. So I need to be respectful. But either way, we got a while to go here. So we plan to be here for the next roughly 2 hours. We'll call it that. We've been live here for 5, so we've been on for a little while now. And in that time period, we've gained, what is it here? I can't even do math. It's like 11 subscribers or something like that. I greatly, greatly appreciate the support that you guys have provided over the past 3 hours or so of coverage here. And I do hope that this video is helping you, or this stream is helpful to you. Looking at this, I feel like something isn't quite right. I'm going to move this over. There we go. Is that right? Let's see. Move this over too. Yeah. All right. I did some editing magic here, and in my streaming software, I made my little face cam thing, and I made the little like live subscriber thing in the top left corner. I made those centered a little bit better. I bet that was absolutely making some of you guys angry, but it should be fixed now, and I appreciate it. Someone just subscribed. You probably saw that thing look. I definitely did. You saw that thing scroll. So I appreciate the support. Let's see. Let's take another look at these storms, see what they're doing. Overall, they are starting to cluster up here. I feel like they are a little bit better. And I wouldn't be surprised to see more warnings get issued in the near term here for these storms, just in general. So we'll see what happens. We got a ways to go. We got a lot of ground to cover. For the most part, I think we're doing fine. Now, let me know how you guys are doing down here in Nebraska and Kansas. Got some nasty storms still going through here. Nothing you guys can't handle. For the most part, these are relatively weak storms in comparison. Well, not really in comparison to anything. They're really kind of weak in comparison to average, but they're not weak storms per se. But look at the Canadian side of all this. Crazy stuff. It looks like multiple storm chasers here are now headed south. It's possible that they are trying to enter the U.S. again. It's very possible they're trying to do that, get down here, and maybe intercept this line of storms as it moves east. It's very possible. Don't know. But for the most part, I think this warning's got to be almost done here. Yeah, 2 minutes. That'll probably be dropped here. Few storms lingering in North Dakota here, but not a whole lot else going on. Make sure if you are just joining now, we are in a little bit of a lull between things, but I think things are going to pick up here in the next 15 to 20, maybe 30 minutes to an hour. So we got a while to go here. Make sure to like the video and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And also like the stream. It obviously helps me out a lot, but it also pushes that video out to more people, so more people can see it if necessary. But yeah, I think let's look through here and see what the highest criteria warning might be. It's definitely, I would say, it's probably this one. This storm's been just cooking for the past extended period of time here, just to the north of Tryon, down towards just to the south of Mullen, Nebraska, producing some very large hail. They just actually downgraded it, and of course, now that I say that, no, they didn't. I thought they did. This is for 1.75 inch hail. That is a significant hazard. I forgot about that. Let's look at the tower data from this. Yeah, you see those white pixels in there? That's indicative of definitely a overall just a really strong storm core and likely hail. Look at the velocities here. And some stronger winds inside of there. Overall, not anything crazy. But let's see here. Jump over to there or here. Yeah, there's definitely, you guys may have no idea what you're looking at. This little area where these colors look different in the midst of a larger thing that looks the same is essentially where the radar is picking up on, hey, something looks different in there. And those things look circular. It's pretty much picking up on hailstones. But overall, we're doing fine. That's probably the highest criteria warning. Otherwise, going through these, not really a whole lot here. This could change. I think it will, especially once we get further into this area. I think this will start to change. And again, this blue outlined area, this expires in 45 minutes. And they did talk some in here about the possible strengthening of this line. I think they will continue to talk about this. And another one that they could issue here soon. I think that'll tell the story pretty well once they do that. And so we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning down here for Fort Yates over toward Strasbourg. That's really the only cities in here. So there actually does not appear to be a city in here. Obviously, a lot of farmland and farmsteads out here. So that's what we're looking at for this one. And we look at the radar tower information here. Definitely some large hail and some stronger wind gusts out ahead of this thing, and inside of it could be some gusty winds. Overall, this is nothing you can't handle. Overall, we'll be just fine here. We'll be just fine at all times. Overall, we are going to be watching for this entire line to start receiving warnings for it over the coming probably 10 to 15 minutes, is what I would say here. So we are right at 3 hours and 20 seconds on this stream. So I appreciate all the support that you guys have outpoured over the past 3 hours. We have roughly 2 more hours of this possibly before I'm going to hop off. But in that time, we're probably going to start to see an increase in activity. So keep your eyes out. We got a lot of storms down here in Nebraska as well. But they generally seem to be more isolated in nature. And for Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, your threats are probably generally going to be winding down. Let's go ahead. I'm going to jump over here too. They're still making changes to this tornado warning. Right in here. I don't know what I just did. Let's get rid of this here. So we do have a tornado warning. It's radar indicated. Let's click on the tower. Yeah, just weak rotation. Really not anything crazy. But there's some rotation approaching Franklin, so get in your safe spots if you're in Franklin, Indiana. Yeah, just look at the Canadian side of all this. All of these warnings, all these storms. Big day across Canada, although I haven't seen anything super outrageous come out of Canada yet. We'll see if that changes. Overall, these look like big messes up here. Is this a new one? Yep, new severe thunderstorm warning for Dunseith, maybe, Rolette, and St. John, North Dakota here for 70-mile-per-hour wind gust and actually no hail. I would doubt that, but there could be some smaller hail in here. Yeah, so look at that. We're far away from a radar tower. Let's be clear. There is a reason that it looks like this, but we have some pretty strong pixels, 80 even 90 miles per hour showing up inside of here. So we'll keep an eye on this. Overall, nothing we can't handle here. You guys got this. Further down this line, no new warnings have been issued yet, although I do think this will probably change shortly here. And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning just to the west of Pierre, South Dakota here for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and 1-inch hail. So we will keep an eye on that. I thought something new had been issued there for a second. Look at the radar data for this one, and we see there's some broad rotation with this, so I wouldn't be surprised if they include a tornado possible tag here. But for the most part, we'll be all right. You guys can handle this. Keep an eye on it. Again, kind of like I mentioned before, this entire line is probably going to start receiving warnings soon. We still have a pretty impressive-looking storm down here just to the south of Mullen, producing some pretty large hail. It's actually very large hail possibly in this storm, so we'll definitely keep an eye on it, although I'm really not I'm not super convinced that all of this is going to be. I mean, this is pretty close to the radar tower. I mean, I'm surprised it's not a 2-inch hailstorm. Something seems a little bit off about that. But we'll see. Wind-wise, a little bit of wind coming from this thing, and overall, we look here. Not here, sorry. Look here. If I can do it right here. Yeah, there's a little corridor here of what would be some larger hail. That's oddly specific, I know. But either way, is what it is. Let's not get caught up on things. A lot of these storms are going to be large hail producers. That's just the way the atmosphere is set up for today. How are we doing, guys? we've been talking for a while. It's been 3 hours and 5 minutes now. It's 9:35 p.m. Eastern Time, so 8:35 Central. We have a lot of ground to cover. Again, we are watching this line of storms as it works through the Dakotas here, possibly going to be strengthening as it gets further east. I think very slowly it is strengthening already as it works into a more unstable environment. Regardless, right now, heavy rain, lightning, maybe some localized flash flooding from any training cells, but overall we're doing fine. If you're just tuning in now, make sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. I'd greatly appreciate that. And for all of you who have subscribed and liked the stream already, I greatly appreciate it. Let's check on some of these warnings that we currently got. So we have a significant severe thunderstorm warning for Rolette, Dunseith, and St. John, North Dakota here. This is for 70 mile per hour wind gusts. And according to the warning here, no hail. I kind of doubt that, but I think it's possible there is some hail in here. And this will continue for another 54 minutes. So watch out in Dunseith primarily for this. Up towards St. John, you guys are going to be next. We also have these 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, one for Fort Yates over towards Strasburg, North Dakota here. This is for, let's check on this. This is for 60 mile per hour winds and 1.5 inch hail. And this down here is for 60 mile per hour wind gusts. They are observed, and 1 inch hail for Kennel and Pollock, South Dakota. So right along the border here, some of these storms are a bit stronger than the rest, leading to higher confidence, and therefore they issued these warnings. Further on down the line, it takes a little while. You have to get towards Pierre to get to the next warning. 60 mile per hour wind gust and 1 inch hail. So I believe they downgraded this. I feel like this was a significant warning, but they downgraded it to a standard. So we'll keep an eye on it. That lasts for another about 40 minutes. We got further down the line, we have another severe thunderstorm warning for 8 more minutes in Norris and Parmelee, I don't know, Rosebud, up towards Belvedere. And this will continue again for about 10 more minutes. Further down here, we do have some more maybe significant storms in Nebraska right now. We have a significant severe thunderstorm to the north of Tryon. I'm assuming is how you'd say that. I don't know. To the south of Mullen and to the south of Seneca, producing, let's see what it's for, 60 mile per hour wind gust and 1.75 inch hail, so some pretty large hail possibly in that storm. I am watching the storms to the north of Stapleton for possibly an upgrade to a significant severe thunderstorm warning for maybe some hail upwards of 1.5 inches, maybe a 1.75 inch hailstorm is possible. We have another storm around Broken Bow, Nebraska here, producing 60 mile per hour wind gust and 1.5 inch hail possibly. Another storm to the west of that, east of that, 60 mile per hour wind gust and 1 inch hail. And that warning, these warnings are about 20-30 minutes till they expire. This one has 20 minutes and it's 60 mile per hour wind gust and quarter size hail thereabouts. We do have a significant severe thunderstorm warning for Albion, Loretto, Petersburg, St. Edward, over to Newman Grove, up towards Elgin, and down towards Cedar Rapids. This is in Nebraska. I almost thought I was looking at Iowa here because there's another Cedar Rapids. But either way, there is this. This is for the storm cluster that's rolling through Timber Creek right now as we speak here. Is advancing with time. It's got some stronger wind gust embedded in it, although this cluster has been on a consistent downtrend over the last little bit of time. So that's a good thing, obviously. We're back up here. For the most part, we are good. The only other warning I don't feel like I've covered here was this one for Powers Lake, Vanville, Bowbells, and Lignite, not sure, North Dakota here for 60 mile per hour wind gust. 1 inch hail expires in 35 minutes. So let's check on these storms around Indianapolis. Still seeing some strong storms over here and still have a tornado warning for another 20 minutes for Franklin. We checked on this a few minutes ago. Not anything super crazy. I'm not really super impressed by this, but also a tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning for 20 more minutes through the downtown areas of Indianapolis, and another one up towards Anderson for another 36 minutes, 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Let's check on the specifics of this one. Just a lot of heavy rain. Flash flooding could be a possibility. Rotation is going straight over Franklin right now, so make sure to be in your safe spots. It's possible that we have a weak tornado on the ground. I don't have reason to think that that's actually the case, but it's possible that we do. And you always want to treat it as if there is. This will be, again, this is for another 20 minutes or so. They're probably going to trim this here in the next minute or so. Probably going to trim this off, get rid of this. So they'll drop this for Bargersville. very shortly. But watch out, Franklin, Needham, Fairland, eventually down towards Shelbyville. Want to watch out for a possible tornado threat here as well. So I think that's most of the warnings here. Let's check down here further into the southern plains. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot else down here. We have a severe thunderstorm watch here for another hour and 20 minutes for New Mexico and the panhandles here, and technically a few counties randomly in Kansas. Also drop those. This severe thunderstorm watch has another 3 hours on it. They might trim some of these counties back though. And then we have this tornado watch will expire here in 3 hours, 20 minutes, as will the one to the north, pretty much. Yeah. So, updating on the general state of all these storms. We're fine here. It's been about 5 minutes since we really checked in on the way the line looked, and it looks about the same. So that's to be expected. I'm going to check real quick here on our observations at our dew points at the surface here. This is as of about 30 minutes ago. So again, these storms are right along in here. And so they're right along the line of having a lot more rich moisture to work with, but it's just going to take time. And keep in mind that as they're working this way, the atmosphere is moving too. So it may be a kind of a losing battle that they're going to try to catch up to these. It's possible they don't ever do. But you can see we do have surface wind kind of pumping these higher dew points into these storms as they move towards them. So that is a helpful aspect of this, I guess you could say. And we'll hop back over here. So how are you doing out there, guys? Not a whole lot of us watching now. It's come down definitely significantly over the past 20, 30 minutes or so. But according to what my computer is telling me right now, there's 6 of you watching right now. How are you guys doing out there? Where are you watching from? Are any of you guys in the risk area? I would definitely be curious to know. And for those of you watching right now, make sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot. We're on the road to 750. Asked, is Harvey looking good? Some crazy clouds here. Let's check on you guys. There is a strong storm. It's not warned right now. It's starting to head towards you guys. Let's use an actual radar tower for this. So yeah, some heavy rain, maybe some relatively small hail in here. Let's look at some other tools. We have velocity here. You guys are probably good. Maybe a weak area of rotation down here. I don't know what that thing is actually. Maybe some side load contamination. I'm not sure, but general look here. Maybe some weak rotation over you guys. You may be able to even see that, but you're not in any immediate danger right now. We do look at the tops of these storms. So possibly 50,000 foot cloud tops on these. It's pretty tall storms out there. Yeah, you guys are good in Harvey. Most of these areas in the kind of central North Dakota vicinity are going to be good, as in no immediate danger right now. This could change relatively quickly, though. As we just looked at over here, there's a really rich moisture plume just sitting here, waiting to be tapped into, and it's possible that as storms move in here, they will start to kind of take advantage of that, and it possibly could get stronger. But of a lot of you guys, especially like out in here, you guys are good. You can go to sleep. You are safe. You are good. We drop further down here. Any new warnings? We still have these severe thunderstorm warnings right along the North and South Dakota border for about 20 more minutes-ish. And we have this severe thunderstorm warning to the west of Pierre for 30 more minutes. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible there. Severe thunderstorm warning for 1 more minute. They're dropping that pretty much. New severe thunderstorm warning here for the storm. It's headed up towards Thedford. I'm assuming is how you say that. So this is for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and 1 1/4 inch hail. So we do have a threat there. We'll keep watching that. The rest of these storms don't look too crazy at all. The more significant storm is going to be this right here for Albion, I don't know, Petersburg up towards Elgin, Loretto, Newman Grove, St. Edward, and Cedar Rapids. You're being impacted right now. Check an actual tower here. Yeah, so there's some heavy rain, breezy conditions. Overall, nothing you guys can't handle. You guys are fine. The general trend with this, for whatever reason, I'm going to reload this. The storm reports have turned off. Yeah, there we go. So you see the history of this and how quickly it just stopped producing these. Overall, you guys are probably all right. There could be some strong some strong gusts in there, but overall, you're probably going to be okay. And for the most part, the rest of this, pretty good. Let's check on these storms here on Indianapolis. So they did trim this tornado warning to kind of fit where the storm is here. So we still have an area of relatively okay rotation just to the south of Needham, just to the north of Franklin here, northeast of Franklin. You can see how it's kind of moved through here. Been stronger and weaker at times, but overall it's pretty broad. I wouldn't say that you're in any immediate danger here as well. No real debris signature from this, which is obviously a good thing. And overall, you guys are probably going to start to see a downtrend in this activity. The damaging wind potential may continue for a while, but the overall tornado potential, just other than occasional stuff, is going to be pretty low. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. I thought this was not new. For areas like Fort Yates, just to the south of there. Not really a whole lot of cities in here. Really nothing, actually. But over towards Strasburg, you guys are not really in it. You're just close for another 45 minutes thereabouts for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and 1.5-inch hail. The rest of this line remains to be warned, although there is kind of a congealing of these maybe from Sterling down towards Hazleton. So we don't want to watch for this. Again, any areas of strengthening. You guys, I know you've got some people watching from this area up in here. You guys, if you're in Harvey, up towards Balta, Rugby, you guys are about to be impacted by just generally some heavy rain, maybe some stronger storms. Overall, you guys will be all right. 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts still possible with this storm from Dunseith over towards St. John, North Dakota. This will expire in 45 more minutes. 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts are possible. And there they are. There they issued the mesoscale discussion. I'm very curious to see what they have to say here. So, here we go, guys. We were waiting on this. This is some important information. Severe potential is expected to extend downstream of the current watch that we have, right? Thunderstorms with potential for damaging wind and tornadoes will move eastward through the evening. So that's the summary. If you don't hear anything else, you heard that much, and that's all you need to know, right? But they do discuss. Thunderstorm activity is increasing along the front in the central Dakotas. I would agree with that, right? We just looked at that. That activity is starting to uptrend. This activity has been producing wind gusts 60 to 70 plus miles per hour. The mode is becoming linearly forced along the front, meaning that as storms form, they're really not staying on their own. They're kind of clustering up together and making a big line of storms. This will likely remain the case through the evening. With surface objective analysis and recent zero-Z soundings, we might look at a sounding in a minute here, but I'm not going to do that right now, indicating steep low-level lapse rates. So these are pretty much, the wind cools off a lot as you start to go up in the atmosphere. And the more it does, the more your damaging wind potential increases. And they're saying here that it decreases very quickly, meaning that the damaging wind potential is high. Large ML capes, we looked at that, it's our instability around 2,500 to 3,000 joules per kilogram. So it's quite warm, quite unstable, quite humid here. The low-level jet is expected to increase through the evening as the surface low across North Dakota deepens and shifts northward into Canada. We already saw that earlier. We might look at that again in a second. This will support an increase in south to southeasterly low-level flow, which will enlarge photograph and enhance low-level storm relativity. This will support potential for line-embedded vortices and a couple of tornadoes into the evening and overnight hours. So pretty much, to summarize what they just said, kind of like we were already thinking, downstream of the current activity that we are already seeing, they are expecting an increase in activity, a strengthening of these storms, and I mean, as it says here, wind is 75 to 90 miles per hour possible. So they're still thinking that, strong wind gusts are definitely on the table here. But let's do some objective analysis here. Let's be really concise here. Let's go to our observations, use the HRRR, and look at our low-level analysis. So they talked in here about the low-level jet some. The low-level jet is this thing, this core of strong winds just above the surface that helps to strengthen low-level wind shear. The surface low is somewhere right here. It's currently making its transition to Canada, most likely. As it gets stronger, the wind in this area is going to get stronger too. So as that happens, it'll increase that low-level wind shear, right? So we look at that. We look at our surface dew points, right? We have a lot of instability and just associated moisture out here, curling around the surface low, kind of doing this. So as it strengthens and moves into Canada, it'll also bring the moisture with it, and also into these storms, which is what we were talking about earlier. and they talked some about the CAPE. Yeah, there's a lot of CAPE out here. 2,000, 3,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE, which is a lot. It's way more than you need out here for robust storms, and we absolutely have it here. So, moral of the story is, we'll drop back over to the radar. There is absolutely potential in the downstream areas of what we're seeing right now for just an increase in storm activity, strength of storms, and coverage of storms as well. So we got some ground to cover here. It is 9:50 my time. So I've realistically got another hour and 40 minutes-ish of stream time before I'm going to need to hop off here to be respectful to my family, because they also are in the house with me. So how we doing out there, guys? I know that some of you have been here for quite a while. Um, Overall, we've seen a general, decrease in severe weather activity over the past, probably generally over the last hour. It started to decrease, but as we just talked about, if you're just tuning in now, we were just talking about the potential for a stark increase in severe weather activity across the eastern Dakotas and western Minnesota here. I mean, this could take a little while, maybe another hour, hour and a half. It's very possible. So if you're just tuning in now, make sure to like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you find this helpful. If you are being informed and you are enjoying this stream, make sure to do those things. Also, drop a comment below where you're watching from, or if you're in the risk area. If you are, where in the risk area are you? What are you expecting to see? All that good stuff. So let's see here. Currently, I would say the more activity is down here in Nebraska. We got a lot of cells down here, but none of them on their own look to be really super crazy, really at all. I mean, there's something, but not really crazy. And we do have the more significant warning is this one right here for 70 mile per hour observed wind gust for another 23 minutes. They're probably going to drop that observed tag. Well, they dropped it to 60 and left the observed. Interesting. But this is on a downtrend as well. This general activity is just kind of falling apart here as we lose some daytime heating. Pretty typical. This line that's kind of forming here across the Dakotas is pretty healthy right now, but they are expecting that it will continue to be healthy. Let's look at Mezzo Hunter. He actually had stopped and he let this line catch up to him. I do forget, I'm on the East Coast. Like, it is dark as crap at my house. I'm out in the middle of the country here. It's not dark out here. This is his perspective. The storm's off to the right side of your screen here. So overall, you can see something there. Not too crazy. We'll keep his perspective kind of in the queue here. And you see the Otis Project and Carmen is also out here. So they're going to be possibly streaming their feeds soon. But either way, this line is expected to strengthen. It's just going to take sweet time. And it appears that very subtly my computer has put its night light on. Let's get rid of that. No, it's not. It's actually it's interesting. This is what it would be like if I was. I mean, that's crazy. It's like not even close. I need to make sure that does not come on because it is like, it's rough. I'm not even sure you guys can see that now that I think about it. I don't know. But anyways, focusing back in here. Well, there's not really a whole lot to focus on, if we're being honest with ourselves. I mean, there's something, but not really. For the most part, we are in between any significant hazards. We do have tornado warning remains for Franklin and Shelbyville areas. Needham. Let's go ahead and this expires in 6 minutes. We got a little bit longer, and it looks like the storm is mostly out of the area. So it is possible they do another one for Fairland, Marion, Linville, Shelbyville. It's possible. So make sure to have multiple ways to receive warnings, and should you get a warning, make sure to be ready to just get to your safe spot. Not super concerned about you guys right now. But for the most part, we are doing fine here. So I think what I'm going to do here, put this in motion, and yeah, we'll just keep this view. Not a whole lot to speak on right now. And there's a shocking 2 of you watching at this time. The stream overall is kind of headed down as the sun goes down. And people go to sleep as the sun sleeps, especially here on the East Coast. So, and you guys, I mean, everywhere, everybody does that, if we're being honest with ourselves. It's getting about 10 o'clock Eastern. So people are headed off. Overall, be here a little bit longer. If you're watching now, make sure to like the stream and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate it a lot. So, here we go. New severe thunderstorm warning. Guys, what am I saying? For this area of the storm between, let's get a city if we can, around Goodrich, North Dakota, down towards Sterling, North Dakota. It just got warned here for 60-mile-per-hour winds, and that is it. Hail, not as much of a threat. We are starting to see our wind threat increase here with time. I probably would see another severe thunderstorm warning up here soon, and they're probably going to extend or make another severe thunderstorm warning down here. That's what I'm thinking. But this is for another hour and 5 minutes. This storm, let's see how fast it's moving. I'm curious. About 40 miles an hour. So, yep, we're doing good here. Let's see what Mezzo Hunter's perspective is. I know we just checked on him. Let's see if he's got a different view here. Pretty much the same. I think I honestly might just leave this on for a minute or so. But overall, yeah, looks like we're doing good. The storm that he's watching is off to the right here. I wonder if what that was debris just now. Yeah, you see that? I'm not sure what that is. It's possible. It doesn't look too windy, though. But yep, nasty line of storms. And you see these roads that they're out on right now. Just a big mess. So, here's the storm. Be up towards Medina, Carrington, about an hour. Pettibone. Let's do it like this. We can do this the correct way. So from the front leading edge of these storms right now. So about, let's see here. Let's see this the right way. They said about 40 miles an hour. Let's change it from that to that. So this is for the next hour. These are some storms that could be possibly impacted. Tuttle, Steele, and Robinson within the next about 15 minutes or so. So we get past that, Dawson, Lake Williams, Tappan, Pettibone, Crystal Springs, Woodworth, and Medina within the next 40 minutes to an hour. So we'll keep an eye on this. I will keep, I'll probably use this tracking tool a little bit more often as we get a little closer. And we'll just keep watching it. Mezzo Hunter is trying to stay out ahead of this. So we'll keep an eye on it. Danny, you said, is there a tornado risk in Minnesota? Where in Minnesota might that be? You say it's Nebish? Is that how you would say that? It depends on where in the state. Because there are definitely parts of Minnesota that have a risk for today, but overall, it's less than your neighbors out further to the west. So if you could let me know like where in state that is, that would be helpful. We do need to watch out here on Tuttle. I mean, the velocities coming in on this storm are pretty impressive. I wouldn't be surprised to get a report out of these areas in general for, some more strong wind gusts. I wouldn't be surprised. This will continue further to the east. And we're watching. I think there's probably going to be a new warning issued between Rugby and Harvey here very shortly. Probably another one down here around Linton, and it's possibly more down here too. You can see the overall trend over the last hours for these things to be stronger. I mean, that's the way it's going here. Big picture wise, take a look down here. Nebraska's still pretty lit up, although none of these are super crazy warnings or anything. And they're probably about to drop this. Yep, one more minute on this tornado warning just south of Indianapolis. You guys can handle that. Doesn't look like a tornado's on the ground right now, based on what I was looking at just a second ago. We were watching across the Dakotas here for an increase in these little yellow boxes. Those things are the severe thunderstorm warnings that we're probably going to start increasing in coverage here soon enough. We've been streaming for 3.5 hours. So we are probably going to beat our record of 4 hours-ish from what we did last time. As long as it's necessary and as long as I'm going to be able to stay up and not absolutely make my family go insane here. Let's refresh this page. It's been a little bit. There we go. Yeah, it looks like most of our storm chasers have either logged off or are heading south. They may be done for the day, or they might be headed to cross the border and get out ahead of this. You asked if Harvey is okay. You said Reed Timmer just drove by my house 10 minutes ago. Well, that's pretty crazy. I didn't know he was out there. Maybe he did. I don't know. But either way, you guys are still really close. Let's look at an actual tower here to being impacted by some stronger cells. But there's really nothing in this that looks scary to me. This looks pretty tame. You can probably handle this. I mean, we're talking about some maybe heavy rain, lightning. In fact, let's see if I can turn this on. Yeah, there's some lightning here, and overall, you got those things. Maybe some localized flash flooding, and other than that, you'll probably be fine. So, um, yep, I think you'll be fine. If he actually drove by your house, though, that's pretty crazy. It appears maybe now the nightlight is on. There it is. Yep. It tries to be subtle, but you can't catch me. Can't catch me by surprise. That is. Um, some stronger storms around Pierre down here, South Dakota. So we'll keep an eye on these. Nothing crazy. 60-mile-per-hour winds and some small hails possible. It's main risk area. Gonna be right across in here. Keep an eye on it. Just gonna let this play in motion. We'll just watch again. Just to the south of Rugby, North Dakota, there where these storms are passing through. I wouldn't be surprised to get a severe thunderstorm warning soon out ahead of these, just to kind of cover what could be a threat. Again, we don't really have great radar information of this across this area, but we got some. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. See how they change it. He did, but I think he's heading east now. Yeah, if he's probably in Canada. I think it's where they were earlier, or just far north, or northwestern North Dakota here. They're probably just trying to either get out in front of this or trying to head to tomorrow's risk area. So that's pretty crazy. You saw him. A lot of people don't ever see storm chasing vehicles. But yeah, he probably is heading east to either get out ahead of this or just in general, just head to the risk area for tomorrow. I'm going to leave you guys right here. I'm going to switch over to here. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna open YouTube. Make sure it's muted so you guys don't randomly hear stuff. And where is he at? Is he still streaming? I'm gonna search him and see if he's doing something. Um, yeah, it looks like he is streaming. Where is he at though? So he is. I have no idea where he's at. That's the one thing about his streams that I'm not a huge fan of. Is I really wish that they said where. But yeah, I mean he's somewhere. It appears that he's in South Dakota, but or North Dakota. Sorry, yeah, he is in North Dakota. So yeah, he's just headed. He's just out ahead of this. Cool. I'll keep his. Maybe I'll keep his feet up. I don't know. Now you guys won't be able to see it, but maybe I'll keep it up so I know where he's at. I don't know. But for the most part, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning here with a tornado possible tag in some of these areas we were talking about. So for you guys in Harvey, you do now have a severe thunderstorm warning, although I would question how much of a threat you actually have for the near term here. I'll take this out to the latest frame. Let's do some radar analysis here. So for Harvey specifically, because I know you're watching there, Ronnie, some heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds, and there looks to be some really broad rotation going over the town of Harvey right now, but it's so broad that it's barely even considered rotation in my mind. I wouldn't really be concerned about that. And now we just got a new severe thunderstorm watch downstream of this, where they do talk about 60-mile-per-hour wind being a high chance at 70%, and 75-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts being moderate at 60%. So it's possible that we get some strong wind gusts, but it does tell me that the chance of the really, really excessively strong winds, kind of like we saw the other day, or we saw yesterday, are probably not necessarily as likely here. So, is this a new one here? It's not. But yeah, these are the two that are most important in my mind here as they continue off almost to the end of where this tornado watch is right here. This will be out of that area relatively soon here. If you're just tuning in now, make sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot. And also drop a comment in the comment section, where you're watching from. Or if you're in the risk areas for today, where you are in the risk areas, be cool. Let's look at Mezzo Hunter's perspective. He is up underneath the leading edge of this. Doesn't that look mean? Oh my goodness. I mean, it looks mean. Where he's actually at here is not super, he's fine. But at the same time, it looks terrifying, doesn't it? This is what some storm chasers call the whale's mouth, because it kind of looks like kind of rolls forward. And if you ever, I mean, like, I don't know, I don't know what context you would ever do this in, but like the inside of a whale's mouth, it kind of has that ridged look to it, kind of almost a bumpy, wavy look, and that's kind of what he's up underneath here. So some people call that the whale's mouth. See what happened here. It looks like weather front may have crashed out again. Not entirely sure here, but hopefully it'll uncrash itself soon, because I don't want Mezzo Hunter's frozen feed for for 5 minutes. Hopefully that'll go off. And if not, then well, you guys will have to stare at his feed. There we go. Finally. Maybe we won't mess with his feed for another little bit. Anyways, yeah, we just got these 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, and this will continue off to the east. I am debating, it's 10 o'clock my time, I'm debating whether I might just hop off now, and if anything gets too wild, I guess I could start back up. But overall, with the percentages they have in this watch, I'm not super confident in the widespread nature of significant damaging wind gusts necessarily. We still have storms around. I'm not going to quit right yet, but it's possible over the next, I'd say, probably 30 minutes. Unless things really start to pick up, I might go ahead and hop off. So with that being said, I do appreciate all of you that have watched for today and tuned in and supported my channel through subscribing or liking the video, or both. I know some of you have done both. Appreciate that a lot. And hopefully we can continue to give some important footage here for the next little bit of time. And again, I think I mentioned this, it's probably been like 2 hours since I said this, but I was planning on doing an evening video that's a normal video, like where I talk about the pattern and the tropics and all that stuff. But I just got to the main time, and I was like, I think I'm just going to stream. And honestly, I don't hate my decision here. I mean, this stream, according to my analytics, I'm looking at it on a laptop here. According to what the stream says, it has 1,771 views, with 6 of you watching right this moment. That is the best any of my content has done in probably a month. So, long story short, I don't hate my decision, for sure. This has been a lot of fun. It does get tiring, though. Hopefully, I can beat my record, though. I'm going to try to go for at least 20 more minutes so I can beat my record. But overall, right now, looks pretty solid. We don't seem to be seeing anything too crazy. Both of these are 60-mile-per-hour storms, as according to their warnings here. And for the most part, nothing too crazy is ongoing. Canadian side of things, though, look at all this real messy. I mean, they keep issuing new ones here, severe thunderstorm warnings, that is. And it does look like our storm chasers are headed to south to actually cross the border Now they could be, they might cross through Grand Forks, Fargo, and head down towards Minneapolis and stay there for the night, or they might try to just get down into the lower 48 and then shoot off to the west, and maybe catch a little bit of these storms. Let's see here. I think what I'm gonna do is see if I can find chaser feed. Is see if anyone's watching, or see if anyone's streaming that's in here, around these areas. So they're in Genoa, North Dakota. Wow, that's a pretty storm. Oh my gosh. Um, I don't think I can do this for copyright reasons. Um, so I'm not going to pull it up. But Reed Timmer, I don't know where this is, but he's out in front of one of these storms, and I mean he's got to be somewhere right around in here, because he's watching one of these storms come in, and it looks absolutely beautiful. Appreciate the kind words, dude. Let's see here. Where is he at? That's the problem. I don't know where he is. He's somewhere in North Dakota watching a storm come in. Genoa, North Dakota. That is a beautiful storm. Oh my gosh. Um, let's see here. I need to know where this is. Well, I cannot find it. I don't know what I'm missing here. Maybe something's misspelled. I'm not entirely sure. But there's an absolutely beautiful storm that Reed Timmer is seeing right now. But I cannot find where he's at. Maybe he is. It's possible that he's up here, kind of watching some of these. I don't think so though, because he's out ahead of some of these. I don't know. Either way, let's take a good look at what's going on right now. Nothing's really changed. We still got these two warnings. For the most part, I think what the way this is gonna go is this line of storms and the warnings that come from it are probably going to increase in coverage. I'm just being realistic here, but it might take a good while before that happens. And considering that some of our storm chasers have moved so far west, it almost makes me think that they are more invested here in just getting to tomorrow's target than on these. I mean, even Mezzo Hunter is now moving pretty significantly out ahead of this. It doesn't look like he's trying to get some sort of awesome view. So I don't know, but either way, I think I'll be on here for maybe another 10-15 minutes thereabouts. We'll see if anything really changes. I don't really think it's going to. I will check in on some of the other stuff that's going on down here. So Nebraska, you guys are dealing with some stuff. They are trimming off some of these tornado watch counties here, which is a good thing. For the most part, these storms really have weakened pretty significantly. Just some hail producers more than anything. We have a little cluster of storms kind of approaching Pratt and St. John, Kansas here. Lauren, Greensburg, Kansas as well, kind of inside. This is a special weather statement that we're looking at here. And then otherwise, further to the east. I got to get my direction straight here, guys. It's killing me. We have a lot of just storm activity. It's just moved through Indianapolis. It's moving through Bloomington right now. Columbus. This is Indiana, by the way, if you were not aware. And then Newcastle and Muncie. This could be some gusty winds inside of here, but overall, this is nothing you can't handle. It's pretty tame, pretty chill. Looks like weather front needs a reload here, so I'm going to let it do its thing. There we go. That feels better. Um, but yeah, for the most part, there's the latest loop. It really is like shockingly beautiful how what this storm looks like. Again, I don't know where this is because like Reed Timmer, where he's watching from, it says it's in Genwa, North Dakota. I cannot find that city. I was using Apple Maps. Maybe I should use Google Maps. I mean, I can't. I'm surprised I can't find it. There, where is it at? So that is just to the east of Minot. Okay, that's where they are. Should help a lot. Let's see. So they're somewhere around in here. They're watching this storm move in. It looks absolutely insane. Just to throw that out there. Um, I mean, this is I wonder if that stream is behind. That's a little bit weird. I'm not exactly sure what they're looking at. To be honest with you, I have no idea where they are. For the most part, though, I'm just curious. I was just looking. Anyways, big picture wise, this is what we're seeing here. Honestly, I may just go ahead and cut it now. There's really not a whole lot going on here. These storms are really just taking their sweet time. Now, that being said, I don't think that this thread is over. I don't think that this is, ending right now. I think what's really happening here is these storms are trying really hard to catch up with an environment that's also moving. The area that has all these high dew points and a lot of instability is waning with time, and it's also moving as well. So these storms are trying to catch up to it, and they're struggling. So, uh, it's not to say that they won't further downstream, and I think they will. I think once they get into this like blue highlighted region that you see right here, this mesoscale discussion, I think once they get further into that, they will start to increase in activity. But you see the entire rest of this line does not even have special weather statements on it. Like this is a really weak line of storms right now. It's weakly forced. There's not a whole lot of moisture at the surface that's feeding them. They look really pretty. They're not doing a whole lot. We did finally get a 60 mile per hour wind report um, just to the north of Steele as the storm passed through. But overall, we're really not seeing a whole lot. If you're in Harvey, you probably are getting some rain now, maybe some gusty conditions. And I mean, again, it's not that there's absolutely no threat of severe weather from this current line. Like, don't get me wrong, there are gusty conditions in this line, but for the most part, from a streaming perspective, there really isn't enough to cover here. And I think I might just go ahead and cut it now. In fact, I think I am. So, with this being said, I do appreciate all of you watching now and all of you that watched earlier. According to what my computer says, there's actually none of you watching right now. Or there was just one of you, so I'm not really talking to anybody, maybe. But either way, hope you guys have enjoyed the stream, found it helpful and all that. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And that being said,